elimination game. The visiting team on the scoreboard will be Babson College River, and the home team on the scoreboard will be the Suffolk College Rams. This is time. Starting line. First for Babson. Leading off, playing center field, number 30. The first baseman, number 33, Jack Halpin. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 37, Ryan Arena. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 10, Shawn Harrington. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 27, Eric John. Batting seventh, the right fielder, number 17, Mark Weber. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 12, Owen Shea. Batting ninth, the second baseman, number 7, Conor Gill. And on the mound for Babson, number 9, Edward Lair. Head coach of Babson is Matt Noon. His assistant coaches are Connor Cortman, Norm Gavoni, Bruce Ginsberg, and Andrew Eisenstadt. And now the starters for Suffolk University. Leading off and playing center field, number 4, Brady Chant. Batting second to shortstop, number 11, Sean Cameron. Batting third, the left fielder, number 10, Seth Coyley. Batting fourth, the catcher, number 7, Matt Brenner. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 22, Greg Speliotis. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 5, Luke Ronke. Batting seventh, the first baseman, number 21, Kevin Belsky. Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 3, B.J. Neal. Batting ninth, the third baseman, number 2, Kevin Higgins. And on the mound for the Rams, number 18, Kevin Sinatra. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would ask that you please rise and remove your hats for the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled
Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome to White House Field in Harwich, Massachusetts for game number 13 of the 2017 New England Regional of the NCAA Division III Baseball Championship Tournament. John Cabral alongside Sean Manfredo as we get down to the final three teams in the New England region. These two, the Babson College Beavers, 28-14 on the year, taking on the Suffolk Rams, 28-15 on the season. Both these teams 3-1 in the tournament, and this is our sixth elimination game of the regional. The winner of this one advances to the championship round out of the losers bracket and would have to knock off UMass Boston both today and tomorrow in order to advance to the 2017 College World Series. And Sean, at long last, one of my musical requests has been heeded as Kevin Sinatra takes his warm-up toss as New York, New York is playing here in house. I requested Summer Wind. I thought that would have been more appropriate, but I take the little wins where I can get them.
Well, it goes to show how much pull you have around here, John, just making things happen. You can take a look over here. We've got people giving the nod. You got what you wanted, Mr. Cabral, over your shoulder. A couple of high fives, finally. Take a look at the lineups here.
So there's the rest of the lineup for Babson College. You pretty much know it by heart at this point, I would think. Jake Weiss leads off in center field. Brian McHale at shortstop. Jack Halpin at first base. Ryan Arena at designated hitter. Shawn Harrington is catching. Eric John in left field. Mark Weber in right field. Owen Shea at third base. Conor Gill at second. They'll be opposed by Sinatra. And the rest of that defense for the Suffolk Rams, they've got Kevin Belsky at first base, B.J. Neal at second, Sean Cameron at shortstop, Kevin Higgins at third, Seth Coyley in left field, Brady Chant in center, Luke Ronke in right, Matt Brenner behind the plate with Kevin Sinatra on the bump. Now, Babson is the visiting team for this game, which is unusual. They've had a good run of home games, and that's how they determine it when you get this far out. The team that has been home the most is the visiting team, and so Babson has been a home team more often than Suffolk has been, so they move over to the first base dugout for the first time in a while, and they will be the visitors in this game. So, leading things off is Jake Weiss. Thanks to Jim Seavey, the sports information director at Mass Maritime. We have tournament stats, performance within the tournament coming into today's game. As the first pitch misses outside to Jake Weiss. Weiss has started all 5 games they've played in. He's swinging it well, 6 for 16 for a .375 batting average here in the regional. As a pitch to him is in for a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike.
A lot of these guys getting plenty of at-bats, John, as each team seems like they've had at least one extra inning game or one game where they batted around a couple times.
1-1. Misses inside, 64 degrees and absolutely gorgeous here in Harwich at high noon. A light breeze, but not a cold breeze like we've had in previous days. Just absolutely perfect baseball weather here today, and two good teams on the diamond. 2-1 misses low and in, and you could tell, Sean, just spirits are up all around the ballpark here as the fans of both teams are happy with how the teams have performed to still be here on Sunday, and the people working are delighted that they weren't here for a 9:30 first pitch.
And I'm one of those people, John. I mean, last night getting home before 2 a.m. was quite the treat. Feel a little bit more refreshed here, having grabbed a few hours of sleep, and then a little bit of a late start here as well. Only 2 games today, used to the quadruple header the last 3 for you and I and all the rest of the crew.
Payoff pitch misses inside, so Jake Weiss draws the leadoff walk. Now Brian McHale steps to the plate. McHale is 7 for 20 for a .350 batting average in the tournament.
The interesting thing to note for those people watching, following along, is that there will not be 3 games today, no matter what. The winner of this game will go on to face UMass Boston, and if they're able to knock off the Beacons and force a winner-take-all game, that would go on Monday.
On the outside corner for called strike 1, 0-1 to McHale.
So a good old-fashioned doubleheader for once for us instead of the double-doubleheader, which we've been slugging our way through so far in this tournament.
I'm just glad you're not at Applebee's today.
Well, I kept looking for that tweet you were going to send, a little whimsical jab maybe at the everybody's favorite neighborhood grill, and no, didn't come through. So I don't want to draw any attention to myself personally. I was waiting for you to do that, you know.
Here's a pop-up.
The Doll Doctor not on Twitter, so nothing we can do to get you into any trouble other than contact them on Instant Messenger.
Fouled out of play. Now no balls and 2 strikes.
Wonder what the Doll Doctor's buddy icon is. You know?
I'm guessing it would be an animation of the bald eagle and the American flag, as that one was lifted to center field. Caught in center for the out by Brady chant. Went out. Oh, completely agree. One away now for Jack Halpin.
Number 33, Jack Halpin.
Halpin 5 for 19 in the tournament with no home runs and 3 RBI. Ball one misses low in the dirt.
I took the liberty of cleaning up our broadcast booth a little bit before we got started here today, but what I inadvertently did was knocked away a lot of our paperweights, the half-drank bottles of water and Gatorade that we were using to keep things down, so we're limited in what we can use to keep the papers from blowing away.
I've got more in the mini fridge if we need them. Is this one lifted to left field? Seth Coyley moving over and does not catch the ball. Looked to be very playable. Took a bad route to the ball. Halpin takes the hit. Weiss up to second, 2 on with 1 out.
Be interesting to see how the wind has any impact on the fly balls we saw yesterday. The first 2 games, very much an impact. Take another look here. Going the opposite field with a bleeder down the line. Drops right in front of the left fielder, and as John mentioned there, maybe not the best route, but don't know if there's any impact from the wind. The flags aren't swirling like they have been in the past, but we can certainly feel the breeze here in the press box.
Sinatra on the season 3-1 with a 7.99 ERA as that one misses outside for ball 1 to Ryan Arena. He's making his 6th start, his 8th appearance. He's gone 32 2/3 innings. He's given up 31 runs, 29 earned on 42 hits, 23 strikeouts to 15 walks. Opponents batting .307 against him. Anthony Del Prete going with him here in this game, giving him the ball in this elimination situation as that pitch in for a called strike 1, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Beacons, who have gone undefeated so far in this tournament, sitting back waiting for the winner of this one in a very good position. Not only do they have to be defeated twice, but they'll play 2 less games than their opponent, so their pitchers have been able to sit back and rest. That is the benefit of being the number 1 seed.
Stepping off there is Sinatra. He's a sophomore left-hander out of East Boston, Mass. and East Boston High.
We saw last night, John, in the elimination game, some of the benefits of having a rested bullpen, as Babson was able to go to 2 very good relievers at the end of a close game.
1-1 popped up on the infield. Making the call at shortstop is Cameron, and he tucks it away for the 2nd out of the inning. Arena retired. Arena had the big hit last night, the 2-run single in the bottom of the 8th that lifted Babson to victory. They were trailing 4-3 in the 8th, went on to win 5-4.
Shawn Harrington.
Now here's Shawn Harrington. Harrington 3 for 14 in the tournament with 1 RBI.
Babson be able to assemble almost a pro-style bullpen, it seemed. We hadn't seen the closer yet as not a save situation, but he came in the 9th in a 1-run game, got the save last night.
Neither of these teams has hit a home run in the tournament. Haven't been that many to speak of, and the teams generally that have hit them aren't here anymore.
Been told that the folks at BTV are deploying a home run camera today in hopes of the big fly.
Well, we've also got a wireless one that you saw in the Babson dugout during the national anthems. This one, you know, it's getting to be a big deal. And we welcome Jeff Fowler back to the crew. We know we're not paying that sweet, sweet Saugus wedding money, but it's nice to have him nevertheless, as that ball misses low. 1 ball and no strikes on Harrington.
Saugus, a nice area for a wedding, North Shore.
He enjoyed some fine Italian dining last night. He reports. I didn't have the heart to tell him that we did too without having to move.
Well, I had that meatball sub where I dropped a little sauce on my nice white shirt. Oh, they're getting chirped at by the cameraman here, as he thought I was coming after him here with the recommendation. Scott, who told me to jump in on the meatball sub, and he was right. That thing was delicious.
See, the fleece jacket doubled as a bib for me. You know, you learn the little veteran moves over the course of many years. 1-0 misses upstairs. Harrington now in the driver's seat. If he could reach Eric John, who would come to bat next.
this tournament being my first ever broadcast, and we're on game 13 now. Made some improvements to my situation here. Got the umbrella to shade my face and from the sun. But yesterday we tried to deploy the umbrella, but it was so windy that it just blew away. Today, taking another shot at it.
Foul ball. Off to the left side, 2-1.
Babson looking to get a big 2-out hit here in the first inning. Try to get on the board first. Oh, hey!
Yeah, I told you this would happen eventually.
You said
once we got enough crew, once we got enough camera operators, it was going to happen.
If you talk about yourself, they tend to sneak a little action there. So
good thing you weren't picking your nose.
No, good thing they didn't have this yesterday.
2-1 pitch. Misses down low.
But you've had to adjust for the Cape Cod weather quite a bit here over 4 days, especially when you're calling 4 games in a day. It starts out super hot, sun in your face. Last night finished up at, what, 48, 45 degrees?
Absolutely. A true Cape Codder is a man for all seasons. Runners both go. The pitch is swung on, hit foul down toward first base.
3-1's a good hit and run count. 2 outs, try to get the defense moving a little bit, open up some holes.
Umpires for today's game: Tom Gandolfo behind the plate, Dave Simon at first, Steve Williams at second, and Mike Griffin at third. Runners go, payoff pitch, hit up through the box. Does it squeak through? Yes, it does. Hitting third and coming on in to score is Jake Weiss. Babson strikes first, and they've got a 1-0 lead in the top half of the first.
And we saw the hit and run on the 3-1 count. Here on 3-2, it's just runners being off. 3-2, 2 outs, runners taking off, and you see here the ground ball right up the middle gets through. Runners off on the pitch, going to score with ease and going first to third as well, setting themselves up in a good spot for potential second run here with 2 outs.
Eric John.
Runners at the corners for Eric John. John set a program record for 5 hits in an NCAA tournament game in Babson's first victory of the day. Ended up winning twice to advance to this game 13, so he is 8 for 17, batting .471 for the tournament. Is that one hit down to third? Diving play made. Is the throw going to be in time? Yes, it is. Terrific toss by Kevin Higgins over at third base to prevent another run from scoring. 1 run in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. What a toss by Kevin Higgins.
Take a look at this play again. Higgins goes to his glove hand, full extension on the dive, gets up, gathers not only a strong throw, but an accurate throw to get the runner at first base, saves a run, gets his team in the dugout, maybe a little boost here to the momentum.
Top of the first inning, 1 run on 2 hits.
Another look here at the play, very close at first base, and he appear to be out, so it looks like a good call. Gotta watch myself, as tough have I been on the umpires. I was walking from the parking lot up to the booth here today,
and I thought security with you for the trip.
Maybe I got a few glares, and I want to make sure that I take it a little easy on him here as we get towards the end. It's like the end of a long relationship. You've had your ups and downs, and I want to go out on a happy feeling.
Eddie Laird taking his warm-up tosses for Babson. Let's meet the lineup he'll be opposing for the Suffolk Rams here today. Brady Chant will lead off in center field for the Suffolk Rams. He'll be followed by Sean Cameron, batting second and shortstop. Seth Coyley bats third and left field. Cleanup hitter Matt Brenner, he'll do the catching. To be followed by Greg Speliotis, the designated hitter. Luke Ronke bats sixth in right field. Kevin Belsky bats seventh at first base. B.J. Neal batting eighth at second base. And Kevin Higgins, who you just saw make that tremendous play over at third base, will bat ninth. Like I said, Eddie Laird will be the opposing pitcher. For Babson here today, the Beaver defense will have Jack Halpin at first base, Conor Gill at second, Brian McHale at shortstop, Owen Shea at third, Eric John in left, Jake Weiss in center, Mark Weber in right, Shawn Harrington behind the plate, catching Eddie Lair. So for Babson this year, this has been their combination, this has been their best defense, and that's what they'll put behind Lair in this most important of games. Lair 1 for 2 on the year with a 6.91 ERA. He's gone 28 and 2/3 innings. He's given up 24 runs, 22 of them earned on 32 hits. 17 walks to just 14 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .286 against him. As this one misses low for ball 1 to Brady Chant. 1 ball, no strikes. Ground ball foul off to the left side.
Another adjustment we've made here with the umbrella. Yesterday I tried to weigh it down with coolers and things like that. Today I'm just sitting right in the chair. Got it attached to the chair. Hopefully that'll
Nifty.
keep us from flying away.
Next one fouled away. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Getting towards the getting real deep in the pitching staff here for each team.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count, and I think both teams would rather they still had their top line guys available to throw today, but there is quite the charm in these pitchers getting a chance to pitch in huge games at the ends of their seasons. As here's a base hit to left field by Brady Chance, so he gets aboard to lead off the first.
Well, Edward Lair, a sophomore out of New Jersey, so I'd like to think that a young guy getting a chance to pitch in a big tournament like this, win or lose, you're going to get the experience for some of these guys, and I wouldn't be surprised if a year or 2 from now some of these younger pitchers we've seen this tournament are the top-line weekend guys. That's how it works.
Especially if you can prove your worth here. Sean Cameron steps up. Cameron takes ball 1 low. Cameron in the tournament is 2 for 12. But he's played an absolutely sterling shortstop.
It's tough to come out of the loser's bracket and not see some different faces in the pitching staff. You got to play so many games.
1-0 gets in, hits Cameron right at the belt. He'll trot down to first, Chance up to second, and Suffolk's got a chance to answer. So games like this, when you're not seeing the top pitching, you've got to keep very much in mind that just because you may be behind doesn't mean it's anything close to a permanent state. These could be some very high-scoring games today.
First 2 runners reach for Suffolk. Thought maybe coming into this game that Suffolk might continue to struggle offensively a little bit. They hadn't had the best offensive tournament, but they'd been really rolling on the pitching side until the last game, the first 2 games of the tournament with complete game shutouts, one of them being in extra innings. So they were able to conserve their bullpen the first 2 games, Babson as well, and that came back to pay off for them as they defeated Salve Regina in a very close game last night in the nightcap.
Coyley's bunt is foul up the first baseline. He's 2 for 15 in the tournament with a run driven in.
Stat I wish we kept, John, is how many successful bunts we got to get a forced runner at third. We've seen it over and over again, the bunt trapping. You see Babson, first baseman, sneaking in.
We've seen 5 by my highly unofficial count. There's the 0-1, throw back down to second, runner safe. There was a parent yelling "got him" before the ball was even thrown down at second base, which is really a high-risk, low-reward declaration.
I like it. You want to try to steal a call any way you can, and if you can show some confidence there, maybe you can trick one of these umpires into throwing it your way.
I might wait until after the ball is released, just my personal recommendations. That one fouled off.
Depends on if you're looking for sportsmanship or if you're looking to try to sneak a call your way, I guess. I mean, you've never sat in on the defensive meetings with Coach Ron Polk at Hyannis, but that's how he teaches it. He's got some pretty unorthodox things where you say, "Really, Coach?" And he says, "Hey, if the umpires give you any trouble, tell them Coach Polk told you to do it."
Curveball on the outside corner for a called strike 3 to Seth Coyley, so he goes down looking, 1 away. And now Matt Brenner will be the batter.
Nice breaking ball here. You can see it sweeping across the plate.
The catcher,
a little bit of a slider slurve there. Picks up the corner of the plate, probably in the front end of it, as caught a little bit outside. But as we continue to say, John, it's where it crosses the plate, not where it's caught.
Brenner is 4 for 12 in the tournament, has scored 3 runs.
Has a couple of big hits mixed in that 4.
Hits this one off the handle of the bat, though. Routine for McHale at shortstop, and he puts it away. Nice rebound by Lair here in the first inning after going 2 on with nobody out.
Pop up there, very big for him. Get the infield fly rule called. No chance for any of the batters to advance. If you get a fly ball, maybe you can at least slide up to third base in the right situation. Ground ball, at least put the pressure on the defense, although you run the risk of a double play.
Greg Speliotis has been Suffolk's best hitter so far in the tournament, 3 for 8. He's also drawn a pair of walks. As Suffolk really has struggled offensively, and give them a lot of credit for getting where they are. As that one misses down in the dirt. Ball 1.
Seeing these teams as many times as we have, John, you start to kind of pick out and see what they're doing really well and what's worked for them and where they've struggled and try to see if they can make those adjustments.
It really is amazing how a tournament like this, where there is so much demand, all these games with no rest in between, really all your warts get laid bare, as we saw last night for Salve Regina. As that pitch is in there for a called strike 1. They're a team that had looked outstanding all year long, and then you come to find out last night they had absolutely no bullpen when they needed it.
Yeah, it was strange. I mean, we saw Popolowski starting to warm up after throwing a complete game in the second game of the day, come back on only a couple hours rest and was getting loose in the 8th inning.
1-1 misses upstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Another thing Ron Polk will tell you is that baseball is a humbling game.
He will say that, and it's true. Saw that last night.
2-1 fastball on the outside corner for called strike 2.
I would say his go-to is, that's baseball, he always says.
Right.
Whether it's a good or a bad.
I think that would be a good follow-up
Yep.
to the defensive manual that he sells out of his trunk. It is also presumably available on Amazon as well. But a memoir entitled "That's Baseball" I think would be a very good read.
Wonder maybe I can approach him about ghostwriting that for him.
Yeah. We might have to get into a bidding war on that.
I got.
I'd undercut you.
When I first joined the Hyannis coaching staff, I picked up my own copy and I purchased it correctly off of his website from his distributor. And the first thing I said to him was, "Coach Polk, I got your book and blah blah blah." And he said, "I hope you purchased it through the distributor."
2-2
sure
misses off the outside corner. The Babson defense was starting to walk off the field. They've got to stay where they are.
That's how he pays for cigars, he tells me. So he did eventually say that he wished I didn't, so he could give me one, gave me an autograph, and eventually that book was destroyed in the flood. I think you remember that, John.
I do. Runners go, payoff pitch, misses low for ball 4. Speliotis works the 2-out walk, and the sack's now full for Luke Ronke.
So after starting to get out of the jam, getting 2 guys in a row, we now have the bases loaded with 2 outs, so an excellent opportunity for Suffolk to answer. 1 run from Babson in the top half. We'll see if they can come through with 2 outs.
And now Luke Ronke, the batter. Ronke struggled with the bat in this tournament. He's just 1 for 13. First pitch blocked in the dirt. Harrington keeps it close. The runners stay put. Again blocked down in the dirt. So Lair nibbling with Ronke, a hitter that struggled. Got to come after a guy like this in a situation like this.
Absolutely, and you see Harrington going out for a quick talk at the mound. He's probably exactly what he's saying to him. Hey, you got a guy here that's struggling, hasn't had a whole lot of offensive success. The last thing you can do is walk him at any time, but certainly with the bases loaded, you don't want to hand back that tying run. Let's come after him. If he gets a hit, he gets a hit. He certainly can't have a walk. Be sitting fastball here, I believe.
Breeze starting to pick up from straightaway center. That pitch misses high, and Lair has completely done this to himself. Hasn't been close. And no place to put these base runners with a 3-0 count. Babson trying to sneak through the inning with a 1-0 lead.
Straight take here. We've seen the umpires be a little bit generous on 3-0 counts.
Not that time. Just barely away from the ribs, so Ronke gets the RBI as Brady Chant forced in from third. 2 walks and a hit batter have created this tie score.
You hate to see this in a elimination game on Championship Sunday, John. Take a look at all the pitches here. Missing, and 2-2
2-2
got somebody else there through the hole. I don't think that was the correct sequence. It's been a long tournament, John. All of us here, from the folks on the broadcast, camera, team in the truck, it's been 13 games in it seems like almost no time. But it has been a long time.
It has. Time has sort of stood still, but it's still elapsed as Matt Noon goes out to talk to Eddie Laird, because now this at bat with Belsky is very important. Elsky's 2 for 9 in the tournament, but he's driven in 4 runs. Worked a couple of walks as well.
Had that big hit yesterday. Was thrown out at second, being aggressive, trying to come from behind against UMass Boston when they were trailing by quite a bit. But that was at the time was a very big hit. Unfortunately, the base running blunder kind of extinguished what could have been a rally.
A 1 pitch by Lair. This is a little bit outside. Count now even at 1-1.
Everybody on the in the tournament has a little bit of a soft spot for. Took a hard shot at one of the games. Was able to stay in the game.
1-1. Hit out of the way, foul. If Belsky can reach, B.J. Neal would bat next, the 8-hitter in the Suffolk order. 7th batter of the inning here is Belsky, but only 1 run in so far. Bases loaded with 2 away. Laird deals and hits the inside corner for a called strike 3. Huge punch out there by Laird to leave him loaded. 1 run in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, 3 left on base. And at the end of 1, we're tied at 1 here on Championship Sunday.
Take another look, John. Looks like he comes all the way back inside after working to the outside. It looks like maybe a missed spot. Maybe they were trying to stay away or split the plate as he was struggling to throw strikes. Misses his location, but picks up the inside corner, and we'll take it.
So you're in a game now, from a coaching standpoint, you know you're not going to see plus pitching today in this game, the next game, Monday if there is one, until maybe if you get to the end and you get to back-end relievers. But in the first, say, 6 innings, everything else becomes that much more important now. Defense, base running, decision-making about whether or not to swing a bat in a given count. All of the little things get magnified that much more because you're not going to get that dominant pitching performance that's going to make up for other ills and paper over stuff for you. So how can you preach that message to players to make sure they're all taking care of each and every individual responsibility they've got right now?
It's hard to do any in-game coaching in that situation. You can have your little meetings with your hitters if you're the hitting coach and bring them together and go over things, but you got to hope that they realize the situation. Exactly how you just laid it out, John. You've got some guys that are struggling to throw strikes. What you don't want to do is chase outside the zone, but at the same time, you don't want to be so you don't want to get rid of all your aggressiveness to where you take strikes. And on the base paths, you don't want to give them anything free. If they're going to struggle to throw strikes, we saw walks, we saw hit by pitches. Don't do anything dumb. Maybe take a little bit of the aggressiveness out of the base running, try to make them earn every out.
Mark Weber leads off for Babson. First pitch to him is up and away. Weber is 2 for 14 in the tournament with 1 RBI.
You say you're not going to see any top-line pitching, but I have news for the winners of this game. UMass Boston is set up very nicely.
1-0, close, ball 2.
So this is game 5 for each of these teams, correct?
Well, Suffolk got to skip those first 2 games yesterday because they were in the winner's bracket. So this is Suffolk's 4th game and Babson's 5th.
So if Babson moves on, they'll be playing in their 6th game, where
right.
Boston is sitting pretty, only have playing in 3 games so far. And be the 5th game for Suffolk. Again, Boston with a 2-game advantage, so they'll be on their 4th starting pitcher, rested bullpen. To the victor goes the spoils, as they say.
That's correct. 2-1 fouled off at the plate. Rank has its privilege, they also say.
Sure does.
Sinatra's 2-2. Line to right field. It'll get down for a base hit, so Weber leads off with a single. And so far in this game, each half inning has seen the leadoff batter reach.
Looks like we might be settling in for a little bit of an offensive explosion here, especially if they're going to give them some free stuff as well. Both teams getting the leadoff runners on, as you mentioned, and scoring in the first inning. We'll see if pitching can settle down.
Owen Shea, 2 for 8 in the tournament with 3 RBIs. Also worked a pair of walks. Out after the first pitch, big cut and a miss. A 1 curve on the inside corner for strike 2.
Getting ahead here, 0-2. See if he can get a chase outside the zone or some soft contact. Maybe get him to hit into a double play. Get a pitcher's pitch. Sometimes you'll want to throw over there, keep the guy close because you're going to throw a breaking ball and don't want the base runner to take advantage, so you try to keep him as close as possible.
0-2 pitch. Down in the dirt, gets away. Taking second on the wild pitch is Weber. And he's in scoring position with nobody out.
There's that breaking ball we talked about, John. The thing about that is if I knew that it was coming, the batter may have as well. So make that throw over there. What the pitcher's thinking, I'm going to keep this guy close. The batter's thinking, well, probably going to be something off speed.
1-2, misses away.
Yeah, good defender. Yeah, good defender. A couple of those World Series teams. Yep.
This could turn inadvertently into some bulletin board material later in the day. Coach Igobrot downstairs already talking about the World Series.
I know. I can hear him clear as day talking about Scott Brocious, I think, and how he's taking Linfield.
In the 2010 World
absolutely.
Series when they get out there. Don't touch the money when it's on the table, Coach.
I know.
Don't touch that trophy.
I'm actually hearing it in my ear, which makes me think you're probably hearing it on the broadcast.
Correct. Text messages are being sent as we speak, I'm sure. Throw down to second base. Back into the bag safely is Weber.
One thing if it was just the crowd here where we're sitting, but it's definitely coming through the headset, which means it's on the broadcast.
Payoff pitch, waved at and missed for strike 3. So Shea goes down swinging, and there's one out in the second.
So got behind 0-2 here. Looked like he was going to battle all the way back. Got to a full count, but
number 7,
struck out anyway. So now we have one out. Runner in scoring position. Moved up on that wild pitch, which was the 0-2 breaking ball.
Conor Gill now stepping in for Babson. Gill 4 for 11 in the tournament. Translates to a .364 batting average, no home runs, 3 RBI.
To go along with an excellent pitching performance as well. So
Indeed.
Gill's had a great tournament.
Got the win in Game 9 and lines this one down and into left field for a base hit. Hitting third is Weber. He will come on in and score. Babson regains the lead on the 2-out RBI double off the bat of Conor Gill.
Conor Gill gets a whole lot of barrel on this ball. You'll probably have a chance to take another look here. Sitting on the inside pitch, drives it into left field down the line. No doubt about the run scoring, and into second standing with a double is Gill. Continuing his excellent tournament.
Worth noting, it was actually a 1-out RBI double. It'll sound good in the highlight action.
Sure, absolutely.
But nobody will remember by the time they see it.
That was one of those things we talked about, John, where you try not to see if you can just let it slide, I think. I wasn't going to say anything because teamwork.
Makes the dream work as strike 1 is in to Jake Weiss. Weiss is without an official at bat, worked a walk, came in and scored the first run of the game. .1-0 line past the third baseman Higgins and into left field. They will hold the runner at third. Runners at first and third now for the Beavers as Weiss socks a single.
Tough to score on that one if you're Gill for a couple of reasons. One, you got to freeze on the line drive. You see the third baseman throw his hand up thinking maybe there's a chance he can snare that line drive. Watch Gill freeze. Then once it hits, he picks up space again. No chance to score there. Ball hit too hard, plus had to hold on the line drive.
Runners at the corners with one away. Now here's Brian McHale. McHale flew out to center field his last time up. That was in the first inning. Runner goes from first. They'll throw down to second base. The throw is in time. Terrific throw there by Brenner to his spot, and out trying to steal is Weiss. He's cut down, but Neal may have been hurt in the process.
Yeah, he got hit hard on that slide. You can see, take another look. Great throw by Brenner. Good jump by the base runner, but just a fantastic throw. hit hard but applies the tag and looks like he's going to be all right.
Belsky drifting over there. You think he's telling him, hey, it can't be any worse than me?
Hey, yeah, if anybody's got something to say about it, it's going to be Belsky. He was hit hard.
2 away now with just the runner Gill at third.
It looked like a straight steal all the way, John. You didn't see anything on the side of the runner at third base. We've seen some first and third plays on offense from teams in this tournament earlier, but didn't look like there was anything going there.
I think that's the first time in the whole tournament that a runner has been thrown out stealing in that situation, trying to take second with the runner at third. More often than not, there hasn't even been a throw.
You get a signal from the dugout on that if you're the catcher. What do you want me to do with this ball if the guy steals? A bunch of different plays they can put on.
0-1 down in the dirt.
In that case, it was obvious. The dugout said, hey, get the out. It's early. Let's erase some of these base runners. If they try to come home and score and it works, we got confidence in the offense.
1-1. Close, but ball 2.
We've seen, as you mentioned, a lot of times the catcher just put that ball in his back pocket, not willing to risk the runner at third coming home.
Sinatra winds, curveball, hit back through the box, gets into center field for a base hit. Another timely hit for the Beavers here in the second inning. An RBI single for Brian McHale, and Babson's in front 3-1 in the second.
Now looking back, a good thing that Babson didn't try to send that runner from third base. Scores with ease on the single. Take another look. Celebrating in the dugout there as they have taken a 2-run lead.
So McHale aboard at first base with 2 out. Jack Halpin, the batter. Halpin singled last inning. First pitch to him misses a little low, so normally this situation would scream for an attempted steal, but with Halpin's bat there, you run the risk of taking it out of his hands. So how would you play it?
I think you're right. Maybe with 2 outs, I think it might be an opportunity for a steal. You got a left-hand pitcher on the mound too, so you got to factor that in. Might be an opportunity to go first move.
Ball down in the dirt, late break, throw down to second, not close. In there on the wild pitch is Brian McHale, and he does find his way to scoring position with 2 out.
So that was not a stolen base attempt. He actually went all the way back to first base. Maybe thought the pitcher was going to throw over, but reads the ball in the dirt, take a look, gets a read, instantly breaks for second base. We've seen Babson be phenomenal on the base paths with those reads in dirt. Seen him reading it out of hand, and oftentimes with no chance for the catcher to make a throw.
Ball 3 misses low, and that really gets at the root of what Matt Noonan and his staff are doing there at Babson each and every year. It's a tough nut to crack in a league with a team as good as Wheaton is, the admissions as difficult as it is, the cost as much as it is. You're not going to have out-of-this-world talent most years, and you've got to be able to be very, very good at all those things we're discussing. Really pays off in a game like this one.
Absolutely right, John. Base running is something that sometimes gets overlooked, and I've mentioned it time and time again throughout this tournament. Babson, very good on the base pass, obviously well coached, taking extra bases, but not getting sloppy, not running into a lot of extra outs at the same time.
Sinatra's 3-1 pitch, lifted high and deep to right field. If it's fair, it's trouble, but it's foul. Deep into right field, would have been an RBI double easily had it been fair.
You hear in a lot of football fans around, they talk about doing it on all 3 phases. Special teams sometimes overlooked by some of the weaker teams. Here in baseball, you obviously have offense, pitching, and defense, but base running sometimes overlooked, and the top teams will button that up, as Babson has.
Sinatra's 3-2 pitch. Misses down low in the dirt for ball 4. Halpin works the walk. Runners at first and second now for Ryan Arena. He popped out to shortstop his first time out. I've always gotten a kick out of that claim that special teams is overlooked. Every NFL team, every Power 5 school employs a full-time special teams coach. Do you think that guy just like sits with his feet up on the desk and throws pencils at the ceiling and goes, I don't think I'll do anything today?
Yeah, it's tough because
who cares? 30 yards, 60 yards, what difference does it make?
But
These things don't matter.
You have to say, though, the teams, and you're a Giants fan, so you have a couple of Super Bowl championships here in the recent days, and a lot of Patriots fans as we're down to the final 3 New England teams here, all local, 2 from Boston. 3 from the greater Boston area, too. Babson just outside
absolutely.
the city. Seems like there's a big difference when you look at a team like Cleveland and a team like the Giants or the Patriots and what they do on special teams. Maybe it's the players and the personnel you dedicate to that, or the money you spend on players, a guy like Matthew Slater, for example, or maybe it is coaching. Who knows?
Guys like Matthew Slater don't grow on trees. If they did, all 32 teams would have one. You got to keep that in mind, too.
Very true.
Had a chance to meet him
Is
2
that
weeks
right?
ago, actually.
Designated hitter, number 37, Ryan Arena.
I was able to luck my way into Pedro Martinez's charity event at Fenway Park.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
We were, as you know, very busy weekend baseball action up at UMass Dartmouth, but that was something that I had my eye on that would have been cool to check out.
First pitch, misses down low for ball 1. Well, apparently keep me in mind for next year.
The Pedro Martinez is one of my all-time favorites, as you may suspect. I'm sure one of yours as well. Doesn't get any better than that guy in his prime. One-0.
Misses a shade low. 2 balls, no strikes.
We had the opportunity to have David Ortiz on campus at UMass Dartmouth very recently for a fundraiser. Don't know if you got a chance to make it to that or not.
I did not. They needed a lot of seat fillers for John Farrell.
Yep.
It was actually out of the Venus de Milo in Swansea, which is very far from campus, but I understand the spirit of what you're trying to say.
Yep.
No, David Ortiz did not have extra tickets available, too.
That was a complete sellout, the UMD fundraiser. I got to go to Bob Ryan. They gave me, invite me to the Bob Ryan one, Dennis Eckersley, but didn't get the invite to Big Poppy.
Bob Ryan actually was a de facto season ticket holder at Babson basketball as the season went along, as they were the #1 team in the country for almost the entire season. Word spread. He's, of course, a basketball purist, so he was coming and checking them out.
Very cool.
Sinatra's going to throw back. The second runner gets in there. In the Numac,
What do you call that play there, John?
that would be an inside move or perhaps a flash play because he threw the ball. Had he not thrown the ball, it would have been an inside move.
Wasn't an inside move because he went to his glove side. So on an inside move, you turn to your arm side, kind of simulate a pitch to the plate, but it was definitely a flash play from the shortstop.
Rio is in there for a called strike.
We're teaching each other here. I've learned so much from you in the last 3 to 4 days now in the 13 games, and the only 2 things I've been able to pass on to you: flash play and inside move. Steal and stop. I gave you that one too.
You did. 3-1 misses down low. The bases are now loaded as Arena works the walk, but I never knew how much goes on between the pitcher and the middle infielders. I mean, I see them make the signals, but I never realized it actually mattered what they were doing.
Check out the flash play here, John. Watch the shortstop signaling the whole way that he wants the ball, and what makes that a not an inside move is he turns to his glove side. It's a regular spin move pickoff play at second base, which is what you often employ on the flash play. It's faster. The inside move you're trying to simulate that you might be coming to the plate, often used to try to expose what the batter might be doing. Maybe see if there's a hit and run or a bunt, see if you can pick anything up, or if you got a guy that's just getting too much of a secondary lead. So it's not a standard pick.
Already action in the Suffolk bullpen as Mark Fusco gets up to throw. We've seen him before in the tournament as this pitch gets in for a called strike 1 to Shawn Harrington.
Inside move, a very big neutralizer for hit and run teams, or especially if you get a young guy on second base. We actually paid the price against Boston in one of our 5 games against them with a freshman at second. Inside move, and they were able to take advantage of his greenness on the base paths.
0-1 bounces in the dirt. Very good block by Brenner to keep the run off the board.
Live and learn, as they say, for the young base runners. Bases loaded.
1-1 pitch is ripped into right field. It hangs up, though, and getting over to make the catch is Luke Ronke for the out that retires the side. The Beavers do pick up 2 more runs, though, highlighted by the Gill double. They get the runs on 4 hits, no errors, but they leave the bases loaded. And at the end of 1.5 innings of play, your score 3-1 Babson. Watching the 2017 New England Division III Regional here on BTV9 and MMABucks.com. And normally you're saying, oh, geez, you left the bases loaded, but this seems like a game where you're going to have base runners all the time. Is that necessarily as painful as it would normally be, knowing you scored a couple of runs first and there's the promise of a lot more base runners today?
I think it always stings a little when you leave the bases loaded. It kind of amplifies the situation that you had all those potential runs out there. But to get 2 and to have scored in every inning so far, and yes, it's only the second, but lets you feel like you're going to be rolling. Now, we saw that a little bit yesterday in a different game. Boston out to a huge jump, scoring early and often, and then able to settle in a little bit on the opposite side and put up a few zeros, giving a chance for Suffolk to come back. It didn't happen, but at least the opportunity was there. Looks like you're doing some quick math in your head.
Oftentimes, yes. Eddie Lear out to the mound right now as he's taking his warm-up tosses, and you're really in Game 7 mode all the time when you're in the loser's bracket and you get into these situations. Suffolk now essentially has to play Game 7s 3 times in a row, so you get those relievers up early and just eventually the bottom falls out of it. If you can't get somebody who can give you a string of innings as you get the up-close and personal look at the Suffolk dugout.
Well,
it needs a steadier hand.
Maybe it's a lack of sleep we've all had that gets you a little bit jittery. A few cups of coffee to get you going on day 4.
First pitch is in there for strike 1 to B.J. Neal.
I'm trying the energy drinks all this whole tournament, but I've switched to the vitamin water here today.
It smells nice as that one misses down low.
I was able to take advantage of a free vitamin water coupon I had at Cumberland Farms, so I've got to be thrifty in the broadcast business.
1-1 misses away in this particular neck of it, yes.
As you know, Cumberland Farms is my favorite restaurant. When I'm
Mine as well.
During baseball season, I'm always picking up something there.
2-1 is popped up, foul. With the later start today, I had enough time ducking out of St. Francis Xavier to get over there and enjoy some breakfast. The palatial Cumberland Farms they've built on West Main Street, Hyannis.
Oh, yes, very close to where I live and where you live, as we're virtual neighbors at this point.
Full count here on Neal. He'll be followed by Higgins and then Chant, 8, 9, and 1. Ground ball down to second base. Conor Gill up with it, throws over to first for out number 1.
Although, despite as close as we live to each other, I barely ever see you. I've never even been to your place.
I typically see you more in faraway locations than we do in Hyannis, yes.
That's all right. Take another look at this routine ground ball to second base. Gets over there on a nice couple of hops, fielded cleanly.
First pitch, an inside-out swing, pop-up, potentially a big out here for Babson, and it certainly is that as Halpin grabs it in foul territory, so a cheap second out, and there are now 2 down.
Halpin does a real nice job over there at first base on those pop-ups. I talked about it a little bit yesterday. Sometimes they look like they're super easy, but with the winds and you're an infielder, you're not used to maybe fielding as many fly balls, they can be difficult. We've seen it many times, John, those especially in foul territory where they drop.
2 up, 2 down. Now here's Chant. He takes strike 1 right down the middle. That was Higgins that popped out. Chant's 1 for 1, singled and scored the lone Suffolk run of the day last inning. A 1 pitch. A hook misses down in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's back to the top of the order then for Chant. Big difference the first time through in the bottom of the order. You see the number 9 hitter for Babson coming through with that big hit, as he has multiple times. That's Gill. Really having a heck of a tournament.
2-1 pitch. Misses low and away.
Gill had 2 doubles in game 1, if I remember correctly, out of the 9-hole.
3-1, misses inside. Brant had a check swing, and now they make a late appeal down to first base. No swing by, says Dave Simon. He probably didn't swing, but don't you need to be up a little quicker with the ask there?
Absolutely, and we talked about that as well as the catchers have to do the communication, see if they can try to steal one from the umpire there. And sometimes when you come right up and ask for that appeal, you can catch them napping and maybe get a fist pump for a called strike, but I think you're right.
Here's Sean Cameron. Takes a called strike one. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. That helped set the table for a run-scoring first inning for the Suffolk Rams. Both teams scored once in the first. Babson has upped the ante with 2 in the top half of the second.
Looking for a little 2-out magic here for the Rams. See if they can get at least another run in.
0-1, lined up through the box just over Lair's glove. If he's an inch taller, the inning's over. Instead, first and second with 2 down on the single to center by Cameron.
Ball was hit very hard up the middle.
The left fielder,
Take
number
a look.
10, Seth.
Just
Coyley.
past his glove, as you said. An inch taller, might have been able to at least get some leather on it.
2 away for Seth Coyley. Coyley struck out looking. His first time up in the first inning. Ball 1 low and outside. Fastball in there for a called strike. Now 1-1 on Coyley.
2 outs. The middle infielders being a little lax on holding the runner there, erring on the side of getting a better look at the making the third out.
1-1 pitch, fouled off, and out of play.
Thought is there here with 2 outs. A single's probably going to score that guy from second base, so maybe take a little bit of the emphasis off holding them close and pay more attention to getting to your spot for these ground balls. Not even a look here.
1-2, ground ball down to shortstop. Gill's up with it. He'll go over to first. High throw, but Halpin with the stretch secures it for out number 3. So the first 0 of the day belongs to Eddie Lair. No runs in the inning on a hit, no errors, and 2 left on base at the end of 2 full innings of play. Your score, Babson 3, Suffolk 1. You're watching the 2017 NCAA Division III New England Regional on BTV 9 and MMABucks.com. We'll take a quick break and come right back with third inning action from Harwich.
Why Suffolk?
Why? Why Suffolk?
Why Suffolk?
Why?
Because in Boston, we don't just study history, we live it every day.
Every time I leave my res hall, every time I walk to class, every time I go to my internship. Because anytime I do anything at Suffolk, I'm right in the heart of Boston.
For Suffolk in the City, I'm Dan Lamparello. Because at Suffolk, I don't just study the news, I also write and report it. Why Suffolk?
10% of the students are international. They come from all over the world.
Because Suffolk has more than 80 student-run clubs and organizations.
80! Why?
Because Suffolk is helping me get to where I want to go.
Because I learned how to design a product and take it to retail.
Because from food banks to homeless shelters to alternative spring break, Suffolk is committed to community service.
Why Suffolk? Because Suffolk is really growing.
Because thanks to Suffolk, I've got a great internship at a nationally known advertising agency. When I graduate, I'm planning on working here, full time.
Because every day and in every class, Suffolk challenges me to be my best.
Move to the top of the third inning here. Babson batting with a 3-1 lead. And the first pitch of the inning is taken for a called strike 1 by Eric John. John is 0 for 1 on the day, grounded out to third base back in the first inning. 0-1, pop foul out of play. John Cabral alongside Sean Manfredo, the associate head coach at UMass Dartmouth, and assistant coach of the Hyannis Arborhawks, the Cape Cod Baseball League. Back in the captain's chair with you for game number 13 as the 0-2 hook misses upstairs. John got tempted by that one, was never close to the strike zone.
The right
Second
fielder,
strikeout of the game
17,
for Kevin
Mark
Sinatra,
Weber.
and there's one away in the third. These pitchers starting to get leadoff hitters out now, changes the whole face of an inning.
Absolutely, as you get another look at the swing and miss there. Chased out of the zone, as you mentioned.
First pitch in there for called strike one.
Starting the first 2 batters of this inning with strikes. Get ahead, put these guys away, get into a rhythm.
Oh, 1 pitch misses away.
Featuring the breaking ball now, going heavy with the spinners.
Sinatra's 1-1 curve hits the inside corner for strike 2.
Nothing you can do with that pitch, not something you're going to want to swing at. Just tickles the corner there, according to the home plate umpire.
Now Sinatra kicks and delivers, curve misses up and away.
So 4 straight breaking balls here. Lefty on lefty.
Sinatra to the wind, here's the pitch, curveball, grounded foul.
Now, if you're the hitter, you're thinking, seen nothing but curveballs, so maybe you want to sit back on the curveball. But at some point, you think he might try to sneak a fastball by him, outside corner maybe. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
2-2 pitch, foul tipped into the mitt, squeezed there by Brenner, and now there's 2 away. Back-to-back strikeouts by Sinatra to start the third.
So there you have it, John. He goes away with something a little bit harder. Take another look here.
The third baseman, number 12, Owen Shea.
Now here's Owen Shea. He is the other strikeout victim of Sinatra's. He fans swinging back in the first inning. First pitch hit on the ground to third base and Olayed at third by Higgins. So Shea reaches on the 2-out error, and Conor Gill, who's got the biggest hit of the game, will get a bonus opportunity in the third.
Pretty routine ground ball here, John, especially with 2 outs. If you're the pitcher, you're looking to get into the dugout here. Ground ball, 2 hops.
Second baseman, number 7,
right
Conor
past
Gill.
the glove of the third baseman. So 2-out error. We'll see if it comes back to bite him.
Conor Gill now the batter. He's 1 for 1 with a double.
Can't give either of these team extra outs. Conor Gill been on fire in the tournament. It's the second time we've seen that happen in the tournament.
It's been more than that. Third, maybe the fourth. One time I thought it was on purpose because there was something that had come onto the field, but yeah, it's not a good look.
Interesting situation there. Yeah. As I was wondering if the pitcher was going to just step off, that seems like the move. He had plenty of time to do so, but waited for the umpires to call timeout, then threw his hands up like, what the heck? But you know, if you're a savvy senior pitcher in that situation, you probably just step off and don't let it rattle you.
1-0 ripped into left field, gets down for a base hit. Advancing to second is Shea, so Babson making the most of this extra out. They'll get it back up to Weiss, who's got a hit today.
Just had a feeling that was coming after the expression from the pitcher after the music came on. It had no impact on anything. Timeout was called. Hadn't even come to his set yet, but he threw his hands up as to say, what the heck's going on here? And then obviously lost his focus. Like I said, if it would have been a quick step off and swipe the dirt and no big deal, would have had a little more confidence in what was going to come next. Conor Gill stays red hot.
Here's Jake Weiss. He's 1 for 1. Walked and scored back in the first inning. Singled but was caught stealing last inning. Takes ball 1 high and very much away, 1-0.
Action still in the Suffolk bullpen. Can't hold anything back in an elimination game.
Fastball. On the hands for a called strike 1.
It's number 14, Mark Fusco, who we've seen already once in this tournament.
Did not allow a run in his one appearance. 1-1 pitch, down in the dirt. Good block by Brenner to keep 2 runners away from second and third.
Not surprising when you get into late in the tournament to see the kind of back-end guys of your bullpen, the setup guys and the closer, but Fusco does have 3 starts on the season out of his 10 appearances.
Sinatra kicks his 2-1, hit the other way. Could this be another? Yes, it is. Down in right field, hitting third hard is Owen Shea. He comes on in to score. Another timely hit. Throw gets away. Trail runner gets up to second. Babson getting it done each and every time they get the chance, and their lead is up to 4-1 on the RBI single by Jake Weiss.
Take another look here. 2 outs. Line drive the opposite way. Watch what happens here with the right fielder. He comes up thinking he has a play at home where there's no shot whatsoever, fires it offline to the plate, and the runner takes a look and moves up to second, uncontested. So backside runner advancement again. Good base runner running by Babson. Ill-advised throw by Suffolk.
Got to be aware of the situation. 2 out in the inning. You're not going to be able to get a runner that's off on contact at home plate. You've got to prevent that other runner from making it, and Kevin Sinatra's day will be done. He's quickly back to the dugout. And now Mark Fusco will come on to pitch. When he came on in relief earlier in the tournament, he threw 2 scoreless innings on just 1 hit, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. So he's been effective already in this tournament. But for Sinatra or anybody else for that matter, if something goes wrong outside the normal realm of the game, you've got to be able to get over it and still pitch. I mean, if he's back in the dugout saying, I would have been great if the music didn't go off, I mean, that's just not acceptable in this situation.
True, and the other big thing here is you got your first 2 and you got a routine ground ball. So if he's letting those things steamroll, the error that led to this inning,
ladies and gentlemen, your attention.
Can't have that. Whether it's a bad play, everybody makes errors. Every team makes errors. You've seen a lot of good defense in this tournament, so you get let down by an error. It's the only 1 runner on. There's still 2 outs. You can't use that as an excuse. And then the body language when the music came on, I mean, literally a non-factor. He hadn't even come set yet. The umpires called timeout, but the way he kind of threw his hands up like, what the heck's going on here, led me to believe it was going to rattle him a little bit, and he hasn't retired another batter since. I'd like to think that didn't get in his head.
Babson bats certainly did, though, as they pounded out 8 hits in 2 2/3 innings of work. 4 runs already on the board, and now Brian McHale comes up to the plate in a very important stage in this game, as he is 1 for 2, had an RBI single his last time up, and if you're McHale, suddenly this huge opportunity drops into your lap. If you can deliver a hit here, you go up 6-1, and Babson really goes into the driver's seat in Game 13 at that stage.
And it's unfortunate for Suffolk because, as we mentioned, they got the first 2 outs of the inning, had another chance to put this inning away, 1-2-3, and since then it's just been steamrolling. And what you've done is not only give them 1 extra life, giving them the extra at bat, and you can't give anybody extra outs in this tournament, but you've turned the lineup over. You've got back to the top of the order, and McHale here, the 2-hitter, is the leading hitter on the team, so you're facing a very dangerous bat here.
Here is Brian McHale, 1 for 2, had the RBI single last inning. Watches the first pitch come in, curveball for strike 1. A 1 pitch, fouled out of play for strike 2.
All 3 of the remaining teams won their conference tournaments. So all battle-tested, so to speak.
0-2 hook on the outside corner for a called strike 3. McHale doesn't like the call. They rarely do. Babson scores another run in the inning, though, and they now have a 4-1 lead. 1 run on 2 hits, the 1 pivotal error, and Babson leaves 2 in scoring position. At the end of 2.5, your score now 4-1 Babson. Good give credit to Fusco for getting out of trouble here in the 3rd.
Absolutely. What a pitch there on the outside corner to get the strikeout, coming in and retiring the only batter he faced, extinguishing the rally. You can see how fired up he was. Body language, excitement. Now, can Suffolk take that to the offensive side? They can't have a 0 here. They've been outscored the 3-0 here in the last 2 innings, so try to get something going on the offensive side.
And it's a big opportunity now for Eddie Lair as he got through a scoreless second. Now has been given that little bit more run support. Suffolk already into its bullpen, so the deeper he goes into this game and has that twofold advantage of it gives Babson competitive advantages in this game, and it also keeps them in relatively good shape to try to go bullpen versus bullpen against UMass Boston if they're able to advance.
Yeah, you can't be looking too far ahead here because you got to win the game at hand. So I think Coach Noon knows he's going to go to everybody that he needs to go to win this game and roll the dice in the next game if they're lucky enough to get there. But you and I can sit up here and start to think about those things, and can they line up and save some arms to battle the Beacons?
Matt Brenner leads off the inning to be followed by Greg Speliotis and Luke Ronke, 4, 5, and 6 in the order, as ball one misses low and outside.
So we have the 3 Boston teams here, the local Massachusetts teams, and we have Wheaton still alive in the Mid-Atlantic.
1-0 popped up. Harrington gives chase and makes the catch in foul territory. And of the last 3 outs that have been recorded, 2 of them have been absolutely cheap. A weak foul out to Halpin by Higgins, and now that weak foul out behind the plate by Brenner. What can Suffolk do to get better at bats? They can't give away outs at this clip.
Tough to adjust here. You start to come outside of what you normally do. You start to press early, and that's a mindset that you can get into when you're down in an elimination game. You got to remember, so many outs left to play with. You don't want to give any away.
First pitch to Greg Speliotis is in for a called strike one. He worked a walk his first time up in the first inning. 0-1, fouled out of play to the right side. No balls, 2 strikes. Well, we got a dull moment here. Just want to thank everybody that's been spreading the word about these broadcasts over the course of the week. Got some good news in this morning as the 0-2 fouled out of play. Had over 10,000 viewers yesterday alone.
Wow. Fantastic.
When we did the 2010 regional at Eastern Connecticut, Jonathan Harper, who was kind of the Jim Seavey of that tournament, and I were doing cartwheels because we'd had 20,000 total over 5 days. As that one's in for a called strike 3. Speliotis goes down looking. Again, doesn't like the call, but that's the only one that matters from Tom Gandolfo.
That's exciting stuff. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the numbers and things that behind the curtain look into broadcasting, as this is my first trip into that realm, but 10,000, that seems like a very high number.
It's a bunch. First pitch is hit to center field. Just a terrible offensive inning here for Suffolk as Weiss is under it and he puts it away, and Babson now with a major advantage in this game. Nothing across for Suffolk in the bottom of the third. At the end of 3 full, Babson with now a 4-1 lead and a chance to go for the jugular here in the fourth.
All the momentum is to the green side. Babson is rolling right now. 2 straight zeros, have scored the last 3 runs in the game, 4 runs total. 8 hits for them, only 2 hits for Suffolk. We mentioned the Suffolk offense has not been very strong in this tournament. They've taken advantage of excellent starting pitching to get here. But if they don't get those bats going, it's going to be the last day.
Yeah, the thing about excellent starting pitching is there's only so much of that to go around. And once you're more than 2 games deep, you really can't count on it anymore, even if your pitchers have had good seasons. Because chances are, they're doing that in games of little consequence midweek that are probably outside of your league, not with everything on the line. And tough to count on a guy that hasn't pitched pressure games to all of a sudden come into the biggest pressure game and give you something big. So those other facets, the pitching, besides the pitching, I should say, working counts, having good at-bats, running the bases well, playing good defense, all of those things. Babson is scoring a technical knockout in all those categories right now.
Correct, and one thing you look for when you start to get into these late games of a tournament is somebody to step up, an unexpected hero, if you will, and we kind of had 2 pitchers get the start here when we started to look through the numbers that obviously weren't the go-to weekend guys for conference games. And would you have gotten a young kid, a sophomore or a freshman that can really put something together? And so far it looks like Babson has come out on top of the starting pitching duel.
First baseman number 33, Jack Halpin.
Jack Halpin steps up to the plate to lead things off. Halpin has had a big day so far. Singled in the first inning, walked in the second inning. So 1 for 1 overall. Ball 1 misses low and outside.
Sorry if I was a little distracted. I was updating my resume with that 10,000 viewers number and just trying to keep everything up to date. Don't know.
Are you a bullet point guy or an asterisk guy?
I don't even know if I have a resume. I must.
Ground ball into center field for a base hit off the bat of Jack Halpin. He is now 2 for 2.
Is Monster.com still a thing, or what? When I was coming out of school, I think I might have been working with those fellas.
37, Ryan Arena.
Ryan Arena steps up. Arena is 0 for 1, popped out to shortstop, and worked a walk back in the second inning.
Might have to swing down to the career advancement office of UMass Dartmouth and have them help me out. I know they do great work for the students.
They do. Ball 1 misses down low, 1-0 to Arena.
They might get suspicious, though, if I'm sniffing around there with my resume.
Yes, they might. Why is he down here? Ball 2 missing in the dirt, and so for Suffolk, this is a real challenge in this game right now because so many things have gone wrong in such a short window of time that you have to avoid just folding tent completely here. You know, what do they need to do to kind of summon that strength of will to make sure that they don't get buried here?
Well, they can't fold tent because there's nothing else but this game right now. So there's, unlike the last game where they were down big to Boston early and you still had to start to consider what it was going to take to come out of the losers bracket if you didn't rally. You still had to take into consideration that doesn't exist anymore. You have to win this game. I think you start to empty out your bullpen with anybody who's available. Fusco did a great job in his first batter he faced, and he's got to settle in here as he's allowed the first 2 runners to reach in the 4th.
And it's a 4-pitch walk to Ryan Arena. Arena got that huge hit last night, and today now he has
number 10,
worked
Shawn
2 different
Harrington.
walks. He'll bring Shawn Harrington to the plate. Harrington 1 for 2.
I was wondering if we might see Chuck Gibson, the senior, back on short rest after his stellar pitching performance in Game 1.
And what alternative do they have at this point? One big hit away.
That's a situation where we were in that situation with our senior pitcher, Sean Callahan, who came back on 1 day's rest to beat the University of Southern Maine in the conference tournament. And it's a situation where you can't really demand it as a coach because it's kind of crazy. But
your ears are very much open.
And when Sean Callahan came to us and said, hey, I'm pitching tomorrow against Southern Maine, we said, okay. Let's rock.
Speaking of those seniors, it's really worth pointing out today that today is commencement day for both Suffolk University and Babson College, and that all of the seniors on both of the teams have declined the cap and gown ceremony to be here with those teams. So we should point out the now graduates of those 2 fine institutions, and we'll sprinkle that in as we're able because they do deserve that acknowledgement. Maybe you can play pomp and circumstance into a kazoo while I read their names, but ball 1 misses down low to Shawn Harrington. For Babson College, their seniors are Owen Shea, Ken Rotunno, Jake Weiss, and Jack Halpin. And for Suffolk, B.J. Neal, Matt Brenner, Chuck Gibson, Sean Cameron, Tim Conroy, Wyatt Stanley, and Kevin Belsky, all getting their sheepskin here today, or eventually somebody's getting it for them, I suppose, as the 1-0 misses high and away. And degree from Suffolk, a degree from Babson, those are some valuable things to have. So congratulations to them. Takes a lot of hard work and perseverance to make it through to today.
I had noticed that on social media this morning when I woke up, both these teams and have a great athletic department running Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. So they had mentioned that indeed was the case today, and I thought, I don't think these boys would have it any other way. And the commencement ceremony is great and everything, but what a story. Sorry I couldn't make it. I was at regionals, trying to go to the World Series.
Commencement ceremony, low-key, not actually that great.
No, more for your family,
as
right?
Crowds go, pretty terrible. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants to be there. It's too long. But we all do it every year.
I can say that we had a blast at ours. It was raining, which stunk, so it was moved from the outside, football stadium or what have you, inside to the basketball court, and were only allotted a certain amount of tickets in that case, so some of my family had to watch it in a secondary viewing area. Right. They had some auditorium set up and stuff like that, but my friends and my roommates and our teammates, we certainly took advantage of the situation, had a good time.
3-1 count, ball misses away, so Fusco after getting the big strikeout of McHale last inning, has not been able to retire anyone here in the fourth, and Babson is set up to deliver a big haymaker right now. Bases loaded, nobody out for Eric John.
Surprised that there's no action in the Suffolk bullpen. We talked about some of the guys they may have available, but nobody stirring so far, and no reason to hold anything back if you're Suffolk.
Did you see the University of Texas commencement address from, I want to say, 3 years ago?
Nope.
That went in for a college strike. I really would recommend it. Made the rounds on the internet. It was a Navy admiral who was a UT graduate, and the theme of it was "If you want to change the world," and it was all different, ways you could do it that were all simpler than you might realize. And he explained each one. So the first one was, "If you want to change the world, start by making your bed." And he explained why that was important and why it's preached in the military and why they make it so important that you make your bed perfectly every day. And then it went from there through all the different things. Really interesting. If you're in the commencement day spirit and you can't get to the graduation at Suffolk or Babson or anywhere else because you're too big of a seam head like Shawn and I, it's worth checking out on YouTube, maybe between games.
It does sound cool. And as you know, John, I kind of hitched my wagon to UT as a college football fan this year. I got to get out to a game for the first time seeing a major college football game and going to a small school, and we did have football, but obviously not at that level. It was quite an experience, so picked up a couple souvenirs and decided that was going to be my squad last year since I got to make it to a game, so check that out.
2-1 the count here on John. 2-1 hit out to center field, playable for Chant, deep enough to score the run. Chant makes the catch. Halpin tags from third, not the speediest, but he will get in there to score the run. Babson keeps the foot on the pedal. They've scored in every inning, and they now lead it 5-1 on the sacrifice fly by Eric John.
Good work by Eric John there, just looking to lift the ball into the outfield and give himself a chance at the sacrifice fly. That's really all you need here. Watch the runner at third. Watches all the way, comes in relatively easily, jogging in to score. You want to avoid the ground ball there, double play where they're going to trade 2 outs for a run, no doubt, but now you still have a runner in scoring position, only 1 out. Keep the offense rolling.
First pitch, pop foul out of play for strike 1 to Mark Weber. Weber is 1 for 2, singled and scored in the second inning, struck out swinging in the third.
Eric John seems like he's had a pretty good tournament. I don't have the stats in front of me, but just looking back at some moments, he's been playing pretty well. I remember him running the base as well, taking an extra base earlier in the tournament. Nice sacrifice fly there, doing the small things.
Inside move there to look the runner back to second. After Weber will be Owen Shea, and then the most dangerous 9-hitter in college baseball, Conor Gill, waiting in the hole, 2 for 2 with a single and a double, as that one misses upstairs.
Got to wonder if Brenner's starting to take a look to that secondary lead at second base, getting awfully far off the bag, looking into the dugout for signals. See if he tries to get the attention of the shortstop or second baseman for a potential back pick.
1-1 pitch. Miss. Ooh. Generous strike call there by Tom Gandolfo. Looked high.
Was a little preoccupied with the action down at second base. He's halfway down the line. With 1 out here, if you can get a chance to pick off a runner, a very good catcher like Matt Brenner. Ooh, risky there.
Lesko deals foul ball down to the dugout. Explain why.
So you saw the flash play signaled by the shortstop. The pitcher not only doesn't deliver the flash, take a look.
Right, doesn't call for time either.
Doesn't call for time, doesn't step off. The shortstop's way up by second base, expecting the pick. Doesn't get it. The ball's delivered. If he was able to hit that ball over to the shortstop side of the bag, it's an easy single. All you got to do is put the ball on the ground to the left side there. Fusco paying literally no attention to the runner at second base.
1-2, similar height. That time it's a ball. 2-2 on Weber with Shea on deck.
It's allowing him to get all the way down the third base line. Wouldn't be surprised to see a steal or something here. See the shortstop very interested in getting the attention of Fusco, but he's not even looking. Maybe Brenner's able to signal over one look to the plate.
2-2 misses somewhere, and the count runs full.
Fusco throws his hands up in frustration, showing up the umpire. Full count.
Walked about 40 feet of the way into the plate to receive that ball back, too.
Yep. Starting to see maybe some guys unraveling a little bit as it's getting to the end of the line. Watch, look at this secondary lead. He might as well just continue on to third base.
Casco and collect $200?
Absolutely. Shortstop doing everything he can to try to keep the... There you go.
There he goes. Payoff pitch, not close. Ball 4. And Suffolk just busting apart at the seams here. Remember how badly they took it on the chin at the hands of UMass Boston yesterday, and that really has carried over. I mean, this feels almost like it's the 13th inning of that game.
Third base.
So it was a full count, and the runners were off, but there wasn't 2 outs, so it's not a mandatory that you put the runners in motion there. I think that was more of an indication of what was going on the base paths. They're literally paying no attention to the runner at second base, which conversely means paying no attention to the runner at first base either.
6 walks already by the Suffolk pitching staff today. All 3 of the current base runners reached on walks. And that sets the table for Owen Shea. Shea is 0 for 2, struck out swinging the first time up and hit. Really the most important ball of this game should have been a routine third out to Kevin Higgins to end last inning. Higgins olayed it, opened the door to a run-scoring inning, and really it's been all Babson since that point as the first pitch misses outside for ball 1.
Cameron's still very much involved at shortstop, looking out to the outfield, letting them know, hey, remember, it's only 1 out here. Coming in, trying to at least make some noise behind the runner at second base. On the last pitch, try to keep him as close as possible. You can see him communicating now with the second baseman and the third baseman. Very locked in. Unfortunately for him, having a very hard time getting a look from the pitcher. Now, bases loaded now, maybe not as important, but a single can still score the runner from second base if he continues to get those kind of secondary leads.
Tom Gandolfo's mask is out and his notebook is out, and that's never a good combination.
I think somebody was just removed.
I think you're right.
Probably would have been on the Suffolk side, if anything. I don't see anybody leaving, but I don't have the best view.
Because we can't see from here.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not happening necessarily.
Very true.
1-0, misses up high. I mean, you can get as upset at the umpires as you like, but you've got to throw pitches that are strikes, and we're just not seeing that consistently. We didn't see it much from Sinatra, not seeing it from Fusco either.
Probably was just a warning, John. You can get those warnings, you write them down so that they're official.
2-0 down in the dirt. I mean, what's any umpire supposed to do with these pitches?
No, these balls aren't even close, and Fusco frustrated, but can only be upset with himself.
Would you green light here?
No.
3-0 pitch in there for the courtesy strike.
Pretty nice of him to give him that courtesy strike after the way he showed him up at the last batter. So professionalism. Take a look at this. Well upstairs,
3-0s are almost always strikes. 3-1 on the other hand, that one is. And speaking of showing up, Owen Shea has taken a walk toward first base on each of the last 2 pitches, and that can have a compounding effect on hitters.
The previous pitch, the 3-0 pitch, was a ball all the way, so I can see where Owen Shea started to make his way down to first base, but that one seemed to be a lot closer. Maybe thought he was going to get the makeup call.
Payoff pitch is fouled out of play. Well, it's just the normal strike zone does not apply on 3-0 counts. It's just as simple as that.
Wyatt Stanley getting loose for Suffolk. 8.71 ERA.
Payoff pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. That one you wonder about the previous pitches, how that may have factored into the decision to swing. Not a great pitch, but Shea trying to protect the plate.
Yeah, Shea didn't like either of the first 2 strike calls. The first one I think was obviously a ball, but then the second one seemed like it was in the zone either way. Maybe took him out of his...
Number 7.
Take a look here as at the pitch. There's strike 1 upstairs. And here's strike 2. High and inside. So maybe Shea does have a beef.
For all it's gone wrong today, the Suffolk staff does have 5 strikeouts to go along with those 6 walks. And now here's Conor Gill. First pitch misses high. If Gill could come up with another hit here, he would go into the most valuable player discussion, I would think, between winning a game as a pitcher and what he's been able to do with the bat.
Yep, you have me convinced, John. I mean, he's been playing great.
2 for 2, had a double, an RBI double, and scored a run back in the second. 1-0 pitch, hit to left field. Trailing, but making the catch in left field is Coyley to leave the bases loaded. So Babson gets one more. They score 1 run on 1 hit, no errors. They leave the bases loaded for the second time today. Babson has stranded 10 runners in 4 innings. They have had them all over the place to start this game. So at the end of 3.5 innings of play, your score Babson 5, Suffolk 1. And you're getting to a stage for Suffolk where you're very closely approaching a point of no return here. You've taken on about as much water as you can take on, and if you can't get this turned around, if not this inning, then maybe next inning at the latest, if Babson keeps scoring at least a run an inning, you're just not going to be able to dig out.
They're lucky it's not 10-1 right now, John. All the base runners they've left on base, getting a couple breaks there against Owen Shea. The strike 1 and strike 2 looked like they were generous calls to go against Babson, then the strikeout, getting the fly ball to end the inning. So very easily, with bases loaded and 1 out, we could have been looking at a huge inning. Fusco getting out of it. Can't continue to walk this tightrope, though, so to speak. Still in the game now. It's only the 4th. Got to get some offense going.
Suffolk went 1-2-3 last inning. And it'll be 7-8-9 due in the order here. Kevin Belsky, BJ Neal, and Kevin Higgins. They are all 0 for 1 on the day. Belsky struck out looking back in the first inning. Neal grounded out in the second, and Higgins popped out, fouled out, also in the second. So Lair's done well against this part of the order, and this is really where he's got to make some hay as Belsky steps in 0 for 1, struck out looking to end the first.
Lair just waiting for him.
1 pitch, 1 out.
Standing on the mound, ball and glove, ready to go as Belsky did his warm-up hacks, and as soon as he stepped in the box, delivered 1 pitch, 1 out.
The second baseman,
Lair has recorded outs on each of his last 3 pitches.
See again, Lair just ready to go. Whenever you're ready, Suffolk, he says, and let's see what he does with his first pitch.
Bunted right back at him. Got time to make the play. 4 pitches, 4 outs for Eddie Lair in an elimination game.
Looks pretty good here, and love the pace he's working with. We'll see again. Already on the mound.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
yep. Love it. Absolutely love this. You can see
the third baseman, number 2, Kevin Higgins.
Steps off as there's timeout called. Now he's back on the mound. As soon as the umpire says ball in play, and here we go.
First pitch in there for a called strike 1. He is in a groove, and he knows he's in a groove, and he's trying to stay in it.
Straight take there the whole way, John. You might even take 2.
0-1, nope. Popped up. Again, another foul out to first here by Higgins. Eddie Lair pitching like he's double parked, and Babson cruising through 4 innings here in Game 13. Again, nothing across for Suffolk. They have committed 7 straight outs. Eddie Lair has recorded 5 outs on his last 6 pitches, and Babson goes into the 5th now with a 5-1 lead. We'll take a quick break and come right back. You're watching the 2017 NCAA Division III New England Regional on BTV9 and MMABucks.com.
Today, things move incredibly fast. Competition is brutal. Today belongs to change. If you can't take it on, you won't own tomorrow. But inside all of us is the ability to step up, to seize opportunity, and make things happen. Inside all of us lies an entrepreneur who does more than just invent the new, but reinvigorates the now. Tomorrow belongs to the entrepreneur. Make it belong to you.
Top of of the 5th here in Harwich. Babson with the 5-1 lead, and we'll take a look at what we had last inning.
4-pitch inning. You're going to get to see them all here. So we have time, as it went really quickly. That's that. Inning over.
To be clear, we're not complaining, but if you're Suffolk and you've got an interest in trying to advance in this tournament, the approach has to change radically.
Leading off for Babson, the
I was introduced to a pro expression this year during the season. We had a senior left-hand pitcher named Dylan Collette who transferred in this year, and every opportunity he had to work with me, he'd grab the charts, and when he wasn't pitching, he'd sit with me and keep the pitching charts and see what we were doing for pitch sequences.
First pitch of the inning is in for a called strike 1. Leading off the inning for Babson is Jake Weiss, the top of the order. He's 2 for 2 with 2 singles, an RBI, and a run scored. Worked a walk back in the first.
We had 2 pitches, 2 outs in an inning. I think it was against Suffolk.
0-1 misses up high.
And he says that if it's a 3-pitch, 3-out inning, that I have to buy a mistake, which of course would be an NCAA violation.
Of course,
so
yeah,
I
we'd
asked
never
him,
dream of such a thing.
It actually wound up being 4-pitch,
Improper
4
benefit,
innings.
that
right.
nourishment that sustains life, yes.
So
1-1 foul back to the screen.
I wasn't familiar with the expression, and we wound up being 4-pitch inning, but so I got out of the potential violation anyway. But I said, what do you mean? He said, in the minor leagues, if you have a 3-pitch inning, or the minors or majors, the pitching coach has to buy you a steak. I guess that's maybe an unwritten rule or something that he had heard, but I thought it was funny.
1-2 popped up into foul territory. Belsky giving chase, slides, and it ends up in his team's dugout.
Runs into the post there a little bit on the slide. Being around so many future pros as you are in Hyannis, is that something you ever heard before?
Can't say that I had. We in Hyannis, the one thing that we do is if you get either a shutout or a game with no walks, the pitching staff will get to take batting practice at some point down the line.
Sure, that's pretty universal on the shutout thing, as we had a handful of pitchers BPs in UMass Dartmouth this year. I think we might still owe them, actually. See if they try to hold that over to the fall.
1-2 pitch to Weiss. Misses down in the dirt for ball 2. One thing I vividly remember, I smile every time I hear that crazy techno song, Levels by Avicii, because when the 2012 Hyannis Harbor Hawks got pitchers BP, Sean Mania, who now pitches for the Oakland Athletics, would not take his swings until that song was playing. He just stopped and brought the whole thing to a halt until we got it going. So that one fouled the other way.
Sounds pretty fun. I think he pitched just the other day, did he not?
Yeah, just got back from an injury. Don't know how he fared because he's pitching in all those West Coast games, but here's hoping for a better year 2.
I suspect maybe he faced the Red Sox recently, but we were here until 2 in the morning.
Made his debut, I believe, at Fenway Park last year. 2-2 pitch.
Sox, of course, in Oakland recently, while we've been here till 2 in the morning, playing longer than the West Coast games in the big leagues. I was hoping to maybe pick some innings up on the ride home, but we've been putting them to shame with ours.
Payoff pitch, hit the other way. Time and room for Ronke, drifting over toward the foul line, makes the catch in fair territory, and there's one away.
Retiring the leadoff batter here for Fusco, very important. You see the fly ball.
5, Brian McHale.
Piece of cake there for the right fielder, drifts a little bit. The wind doesn't seem to be a factor, so maybe just a little bit of a lackadaisical route.
Brian McHale stepping up. He is 1 for 3. Flew out to center in the first, had an RBI single in the second, struck out looking in the third with runners at second and third. First one's in there for a called strike. If there's a down note for Babson in this game, it's that they've left a gaggle of runners on and a bunch of them in scoring position. They've stranded 10 over the first 4 innings, bases loaded in the second and fourth, runners at second and third in the third, and there were runners at first and third in the first.
That is a lot of stranded base runners. But at least it's not like they have nothing to show for it. They have scored in every inning.
1 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth to have the 5-1 lead they presently enjoy. Borderline pitch there. Good call on strike 2 on the curve. Fusco now trying to find some of the rhythm that Lear's got going on the other side. He's set down 3 in a row. Misses outside with a fastball. 2-2. Grounded up the middle, knocked down there at second base. And legging it out for an infield hit is Brian McHale. 1 on, 1 out.
I've seen a lot of excellent plays by the infielders to get the balls that are going through the infield anyway, but when you make a diving stop like that, it's very rare that you're going to be able to get the throw as well. Take a look. Excellent effort, knocks it down, but no play. So he came up and got Belsky a little bit there.
The first baseman, number 33, Jack Halpin.
Not as bad as the last time, though, John.
That's for sure. Jack Halpin steps in. He's been the big bat for Babson today. 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, also a walk. Came around, scored a run last inning. Everybody pitching in just a little bit, top to bottom in this Babson lineup in this tournament. That's why they're still here, as that one's on the outside corner for called strike 1. Only one extra base hit for the Beavers today. A double off the bat of Conor Gill back in the second. 9 singles. Or as Jim Seavey would want me to say in this situation, they've singled 9 times.
Wow, that's a lot of singles. There hasn't been a whole lot of extra base hitting going on. Maybe the winds have had a lot to do with that.
Certainly have. 0-2 curveball swung on and missed. Great pitch there by Fusco. Might have been foul tipped into the mid. Brenner hangs on and there's 2 away.
The designated hitter, number 37, Ryan.
Third strikeout for Fusco. Now there's 2 away with Ryan Arena coming to the plate.
Fun to see a handful of young Little Leaguers in the stands with their gloves here today. A great Cape Cod day.
I make one Ferris Bueller's Day Off reference, and Jim Seavey walks in 30 seconds later with free food for the crew.
Fantastic.
No, if I knew that was all it took, I would have done it hours ago.
Interesting play here as the runner breaks for second base. Brenner comes up throwing a low throw, and Fusco just swats it away, takes it himself. So cut off from the throw from the catcher to second base. He never makes it down to the attempted base runner.
So McHale into scoring position. Ground ball up the middle. Squeaks through into center field. McHale hits third. He will come on in and score, and Babson keeps the chain going. 5 straight innings with scored runs, and they're now in front 6-1 on the RBI single by Ryan Arena.
Don't think that you see here again the ground ball up the middle with 2 outs, runner off all the way. Diving attempt by the shortstop, center fielder takes it with a bare hand, flips it in to the cutoff. I don't think they had a chance at the base runner on the pitch before that, John, to be honest with you. But Brenner seems like a little bit frustrated that the pitcher would cut that off for no reason. I mean, what's it hurt to let it go? Take a chance.
Well, if the run's going to score on the next pitch anyway, it doesn't hurt at all. Now Shawn Harrington's the batter. Harrington 1 for 2. Had an RBI single back in the first. Takes ball 1 low and inside. Babson has got the execution down in this game.
The little things are starting to add up, and Fusco, who I think is an excellent pitcher. I like his fire, and he's doing the best he can out there, but he doesn't seem to be picking up on some of the other stuff from his teammates. The shortstop earlier in the game.
Ground ball to shortstop. This one taking the short way down to second base for the out that retires the side, but Babson adds another one on the RBI single by Arena after the stolen base. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left at the end of 4.5 innings of play. Your score, Babson 6, Suffolk 1. You're watching the 2017 NCAA New England Regional on BTV 9. And also MMABucks.com. John Cabral alongside Sean Manfredo. And you got a better look at that stolen base than I did, and you definitely picked up on some frustration among the battery there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think the bag was stolen off the pitcher, and I don't think there was any chance for Brenner to throw him out. But we're going to get a chance to take another look at it. I just thought it was odd. Brenner comes up throwing down to second base, a low throw. And Fusco not only doesn't avoid it, but snags it with his glove. We saw earlier the shortstop trying to get his attention with a secondary lead at second base, and he was just too locked into the batter. So
in the meantime, talk about Eddie Lair a little bit here, as he has been pitching very quickly and getting outs very quickly as he's set down now 7 in a row.
Take a look here. The stolen base I'm talking about. Brenner comes up throwing, and you can see that he's He's almost at second base, but Fusco can't see that. He's facing Brenner. He doesn't know what's going on, and Brenner comes up firing, and Fusco snares the ball.
Does he not think the throw is going to second? I mean, why isn't he ducking for his own safety?
I don't know. Maybe we can look at it again, but it was just caught me as strange, John. That's all. Like I said, I don't think there was any chance to nail the runner, but what's it hurt to let the ball go to second? I mean, Fusco can't see that behind him.
Brady Chant leads off here. Takes a called strike one. Chant's been one of the better players in the tournament, and he's 1 for 1 today. Singled and scored in the first. Worked a walk in the second. Takes the ball low there.
Maybe an adjustment made as we've seen the guy take 2 pitches here.
Line drive out to center field, falling fast. Weiss coming on, slides and makes the catch. It's been that kind of day for Babson College.
I love the sliding play by the outfielders. It's one of my favorites. You see here Weiss coming hard the whole way. That looks like it's going to be a single off the bat. Comes in, goes into the slide, snags it. Now, a lot of outfielders might go into a headfirst dive, a risky play there, because if it gets by you, could be extra bases. The slide allows you to keep your body behind your glove, and if you don't get the ball, at least you body it up and keep it there in front of you. Love the slide.
One away now for Sean Cameron. As ball one misses up and away. Cameron 1 for 1, was hit by a pitch in the first inning, singled in the second. One bounces down on the dirt to even the count.
So we've seen 5 pitches now. That's more than it took for the entire inning last inning, so that's good for Suffolk.
Pop up. You spoke too soon.
Had a feeling it was coming, John. Foreshadowing.
And now to bring Ron Polk back into the discussion. I think you should explain the I got it phenomenon to baseball fans everywhere.
Yeah, so Coach Polk, who is assistant coach now with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks as he's in retirement mode, one of the all-time great NCAA coaches at Mississippi State, the godfather of SEC baseball, keeps track of I got it's, he calls it, which are pop-ups where no effort is needed by the defense to make a move on it, not a tough fly ball or a line drive, but a pop-up or a routine fly ball. And at the end of the game, he adds up the I got it's along with the strikeouts looking and lets you know how many outs you just handed to the opposing team without any effort whatsoever. So he keeps track of I got it's.
Well, I can count that up in a second here, as it's not a good number right now for Suffolk. Seth Coyley, the batter, he had one of those strikeouts looking back in the first inning. Now it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count on him, 0 for 2 on the day, and make it 0 for 3 as he hits this one right out to Jake Weiss. That's another I got it. And once again, Suffolk goes down 1-2-3 in the 5th. Eddie Lair has knocked down 10 in a row. At the end of 5 full innings of play, Suffolk trailing Babson by a score of 6-1 in Game 13.
There were no errors and no runners left on base.
You only get 27 outs to play with, John, so the idea behind counting up the I got it's is what percentage of outs did you really work with as an offense?
My unofficial count is 6 I got it's out of 15 outs, so that would be a 40% rate, and then 3 looking strikeouts out of 15, that would be 20%. So 60% of your outs have been complete giveaways through 5 innings, give or take 1.
Tough to win that way, and I think that's the point that Coach Polk tries to make to the Cape Cod League guys, and I'm sure that he uses in his Division I career and continues as the volunteer coach for UAB. Coach Polk, a baseball junkie, of course.
After you're done watching the University of Texas commencement address from 2013 between games, you can type up Ron Polk on the Wikipedia, and you won't be disappointed.
I actually have a pretty funny story about this. My friend Ben Warnick, who's the acting head coach at Massasoit Community College, we talked about him a little bit earlier when talking about Luke Nagel from Boston. He was sports information down at UAB, and we were on a Florida trip with UMass Dartmouth, and we were in the same hotel complex with UAB. I didn't know anything about the Blazers at the time, but I saw there was an older coach walking around the parking lot every morning. He'd get up 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. He'd smoke a long cigar, like a 1.5 foot, 2-foot cigar, it seemed like to me, at least from the porch, and he'd be walking around, just walking circles, full uniform. So I sent a text message down to Ben at UAB, and I said, who's this coach on your staff? He's walking around smoking cigars in the parking lot. He says, don't you Google Ron Polk? And so I Google it, and the godfather of SEC baseball, one of the winningest coaches in Division I baseball history.
Eric John will lead off the 6th inning for Babson College, to be followed by Mark Weber and Owen Shea. 6, 7, and 8 in the lineup, as that first one is in for a called strike one. John is 0 for 2. Grounded out to third base back in the first inning. Struck out swinging in the third. Had an RBI sacrifice fly in the fourth. Gets into this one to left field, falling fast and misplayed badly by Coyley. Gets by him, and John will get into second base with a double just by virtue of Coyley not touching the ball. And that's one that maybe could have been caught, but certainly should have been held to a single.
Let's take another look when we get a chance.
John aboard at second base.
Fly ball left field, like you said. John coming in hard. Maybe heard that I like the slide. Goes into it there, but gets eaten up by it. As the idea behind the slide is if you miss the catch, you keep the ball in front of you. Not the case there.
And Mark Weber, the batter. Weber is 1 for 2. Singled and scored in the second. Struck out swinging in the third. Walked in the fourth. Curveball misses up high, so you've got the 6-1 lead here, but there's clearly a psychological component to the fact that they've scored in every inning. And with that in mind, because it's far from insignificant, would you be bunting here?
Very good possibility. The runner's already in scoring position, though, so you have 3 chances to drive him in, and
ground
there
ball,
you go.
Get it done anyway. They don't glove the ball, so it gets in. Matt Noon going to send that run in with nobody out. The throw to the plate is in time, getting a little too aggressive there. And now down to second base on the throw is Weber, so he ends up replacing him at second base, but a very unorthodox decision there by Matt Noon, costing Babson an out.
Well, his thinking there is that's a slow ground ball through the hole, so good opportunity to score, maybe just not a fast enough base runner, or maybe not a great jump at second base. We'll see if we have a chance here. See to get the secondary lead. The ball's on the ground. He seems to be off on contact, so just a great throw by the left fielder. Catch, tag. Smartly advancing on the throw to second base, though, so you still have a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
Be the same as if you'd struck out, as you replace the runner at second base now with 1 away for Owen Shea. As a ball blocked down in the dirt, 1 ball, no strikes. Shea is 0 for 3. He struck out swinging twice in the second and fourth. In between, reached on an error, came around to score.
We'll see if Fusco can take advantage.
1-0. Hit out to center field. This would have scored the run. Chant gets under it, makes the catch, and instead Weber has to stay at second.
You see again that Babson doesn't tag up from second base to move to third base. We mentioned that early in the tournament. Maybe just something that they don't do as a philosophy, but that ball was certainly hit well enough to advance to third base, especially with the wind there. That's an awful tough throw from center field.
So Weber remains at second with 2 out for Conor Gill. Gill's had a big game.
Roving camera work by Nick out there in the stands.
Gill 2 for 3, RBI double and a run scored in the second, a single in the third. Flew out to left field his last time up in the fourth. First pitch ripped into left field, and all's well that ends well. Hitting third is Mark Weber. He's going to come around in to score. Babson's done it again. Another timely hit off the bat of Conor Gill. Babson has scored in every inning, and they now lead it 7-1.
Nobody going to stop the bleeding here, John. 2 outs. They're going to appeal over to third base, but I mean that's obvious that I think that he hit the bag. Won't be able to tell here from this angle. Here he comes around third base and right on top of the base. So umpire looking right at it.
Gill aboard at first now. Jake Weiss steps to the plate. Weiss has had a nice day as well. 2 for 3. Walked and scored in the first, singles in the second and third. The one in the third was an RBI with 2 out, and flew out to right field in the fifth. First pitch hits the outside corner for a called strike 1.
Still working with 2 outs here.
That's the most intense game of fetch I've ever seen.
A 1. In there on the edge for a called strike 2. If Weiss could keep it going, Brian McHale would bat next. O2 curveball, fouled out of play the other way.
Conor Gill is playing very well. And we've mentioned it time and time again, but there he is on base again, coming through out of the 9-hole. Has the pitching performance as well.
3 hits the day after, getting a W in an elimination game yesterday, 0-2. And this is a little bit outside. Gill now has 7 hits in the tournament. He's second only to Eric John, who's got 9.
So Eric John was having a good tournament. It seemed like he was.
When you have 5 in the same game, that really raises the tide for you. This one hit down to shortstop. Cameron's got it. He goes to second for the force out that retires the sign. So Cameron remains an oasis here for Suffolk today. Babson does it again. They score another run on 3 hits, no errors. They leave 1 man aboard. And at the end of 5.5 innings of play, your score now 7-1 Babson as we head into the bottom half of the 6th inning. And this has just been a very slow drip route that this is turning into in Babson's favor, and it's just like quicksand here for Suffolk. And is there anything that they can still do at this point with 4 innings remaining to try to reverse it? I mean, still not out of the realm of possibility down by 6, but you're just not seeing any vital signs from the Rams here in Game 13.
Doesn't look good, John. I don't think at this point there's a couple of numbers that really jump out to you on top of the 7-1 score. 14 hits for the Beavers in only 6 innings, and the number of guys left on base. This could be 15-0 right now.
Yeah, Babson has stranded 12 runners in addition to the 7 runs they've scored in 6 innings of play. And when you flip over the scorebook, you see that Eddie Lair has set down 10 straight batters. I mean, that's just something that should never happen in an elimination game 13 when you're this deep into pitching staffs.
We talked about it a little bit is when you get this far into the tournament, what you're looking for is somebody outside of your top guys to step up and really have a stellar performance that kind of elevates them. I think we're seeing it here.
Suffolk, the catcher, number 7, Matt Brenner.
Love it. He's just, wait, come on, step in the box, he says. I'm ready to go. Standing on the mound, just waiting for you to please get in the box. Here comes the pitch as soon as the umpire puts the ball in play. Points to the pitcher, and here it comes.
First one misses a little bit outside to Matt Brenner. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of I got it's. I pop out to shortstop to end the first, and a foul out to the catcher to lead off the third. Make it 3 as he hits this one out to left center field. I got it, says Eric John, and he puts it away for out number 1. 11 straight set down by Lair.
Don't know what you can do here at this point if you're Suffolk. I mean, a couple of things. He's throwing strikes. You're just not hitting them hard enough or putting them in play in any challenge to the defense. It's pop-ups and fly balls, and you can talk about adjusting, but there's not anything that you can pinpoint. You're not chasing outside the zone. You're not falling behind. He's pounding the strike zone.
First pitch misses up high for ball 1 to Greg Speliotis. Speliotis is 0 for 1. Walked in the first inning, struck out looking in the third. 1-0 hits the corner for called strike 1. This reminds me of when Paul Bird had the Red Sox under a spell in the 2007 ALCS. Very similar type of approach and results as the 1-1 misses low and away.
And even when he's missing here, I mean, that didn't miss by much. So he's living around the zone, working quickly, very quickly. The pace is what's really impressing me.
I got it to right field, says Mark Weber. 2 down, 12 in a row, retired by Lair.
Gets the ball,
Right fielder, number 5,
stands on the mound.
Ronke.
Now he's going to stand there while Ronke takes the bat that was discarded, throws it into the dugout, cleans up his area, a couple of practice swings, adjusts his helmet. This is all standard. I'm not picking on him. It happens every at-bat, but what I like is he's just standing there waiting for him. As soon as he gets in, here comes the pitch. Strike 1.
Fouled out of play. No balls and a strike on Ronke. He's 0 for 1. Has the only Suffolk RBI of the day, which was forced in on a walk in the first inning.
Lair again just waiting for him. He takes a break, steps out of the box, a practice swing, which is all standard, not picking on the batter. But the outstanding part is Lair just on the mound waiting for you to get in the box. As soon as you do, here we go.
Ronke flew out to center field his last time up in the third. Looking down to third for a sign. There's only so many signs you can get with the bases empty. I got it to left field. Eric John underneath it. moves over with the win, catches it in foul territory, and another breezy inning for Eddie Lair, his 4th consecutive 1-2-3 frame. He's set down 13 in a row, and we are through 6. At the end of 6 full, your score: Babson 7, Suffolk 1. You're watching the 2017 NCAA Division III Regional on BTV 9 and MMABucks.com. We'll take a quick break and come right back with the late frames from Harwich.
While they're focused on success, we're focused on them. Because protecting college athletes doesn't only happen on the field. After the buzzer, it's about healthier student athletes. So we're reforming to meet their needs, investing in groundbreaking research, and changing the conversation around mental health. We're working hard to protect college athletes. Because prioritizing their well-being creates a pathway to a lifetime of opportunity.
Mark Fusco back out to the mound for the 7th inning. Fusco has allowed runs in every inning he's pitched, and it's almost like they don't realize it's an elimination game.
Nobody's stopping the bleeding, John. There's not a single 0 on the board defensively for Suffolk. There's plenty of them on the board offensively. No urgency here, and Fusco is, he's minimizing, but at this time you need to be shutting them down. You got to put up a 0 here in the 7th. Might be all for naught. If you're not even going to get any base runners, you can put up as many 0s as you want the rest of the way. It's not going to help you any.
I mean, it's not that Fusco's been bad.
No.
But in an elimination game, you need to just keep swapping out until you find something that works.
No, he hasn't been bad at all. Fusco's pitching okay. He's not done anything that's...
I mean, if this were a Thursday afternoon in April, that'd be one thing. It's Sunday in May on graduation day, and you've got to get a win.
Absolutely, and you're down to the final 3 innings.
Brian McHale will lead it off for Babson in the top of the 7th. First pitch is in for a called strike 1. McHale is 2 for 4 with a pair of singles, an RBI, a stolen base, and a run scored. Really, everybody has pitched in 1 through 9 in this Babson lineup today, as the 0-1 misses low and outside.
We don't know what the status of the Suffolk bullpen is here, but my guess is, and just a complete guess, is that Fusco was probably going to be the starting pitcher against Boston had they won this game and had their starting pitcher been effective. And
1-1 grounder, Higgins up with it, and he throws over to first for the outs. They keep the leadoff man off base in the 7th. That'll get it to Jack Halpin. Halpin,
the first baseman, number
2 for 3 on the day with a pair of singles, a run scored, a walk, and he struck out swinging his last time up. Now he's back in the 5th inning. Just have to think back to that incredible outing that Charles Batchelder gave you yesterday against UMass Boston. Fell on the grenade to keep the rest of the pitching staff available. He's got to be wondering right now, why did I bother?
That's a good point, John, and that was a fantastic performance, and we've seen so many of them throughout the tournament.
They have to beat Boston twice, that's for sure. Yeah.
Ball 1 misses up and away to Halpin.
Game number 13. Oh, really?
That one misses high.
Yeah. They've been telling us 4 all day, yeah. Huh? All 13 so far.
Fusco delivers. Here's a ground ball down to first base. Up with it at first is Belsky, and he gets the second out.
So getting the first 2 outs has not been an automatic 0 by any means for Suffolk so far. Babson has been able to push across runs with 2 outs on multiple occasions. So
it's the first time it's happened, though, since the 3rd inning when the starter Sinatra got back-to-back strikeouts, and then that error by Higgins really was a major turning point in the game. It was 3-1 at that point, and really not a thing has gone right for Suffolk since.
See if Fusco can get that elusive 3rd out in the first 0 of the game for the Rams.
That strike call certainly helps.
Sure
0-1 now the count.
He'll take it if you're Suffolk.
Arena, the cleanup hitter, has not had a good tournament with the bat. 2 for 13 coming into today. But it was a big 2, as that second hit is the reason why Babson is still here. They were trailing 4-3 in the bottom of the 8th last night. Delivered a 2-out bases-loaded single to eventually win the game for the Beavers. That one's in on the outside corner for a called strike 2. And sometimes it's just that one hit that can get you going. He's got another hit for an RBI today and a pair of walks, 1 for 2, but he's been on 3 times.
Seems like his timing has just been off throughout the tournament. And you're right, maybe that big hit last night sparks him. they're certainly going to need him if they're able to advance to the next round.
Excellent inning here for Fusco in the 7th as he responds by getting all Babson hitters in order and the K to punctuate the frame. So he now has set down 4 in a row in his own right.
First 0 of the game.
Nothing across for Babson. And at the end of 6.5, your score now 7-1 in Babson's favor. 9 outs remaining for Suffolk. An opportunity now to change momentum, but is it too late becomes the question.
I mean, I guess technically it's not too late, but don't think we've seen a whole lot to indicate that Suffolk's looking to put up 6 or 7 runs here through the first 6 at-bats anyway.
And the thing is now it's late enough in the game, and Babson has managed the pitching so well. They've gotten fabulous starting pitching throughout this entire tournament. Rotunno is going to be fully available, and Cuneo is going to be fully available. And at this number of 9 outs, even if Lair were to completely hit the wall here, you could probably find a way with those 2 guys to divvy up the outs you need to get still, given this 6-run cushion.
Absolutely, and Coach Noon's not going to take anything for granted. However, with a safe lead right now, 6 runs, you're well into the fact where you might be thinking about using some secondary guys and staying with your starting pitcher as long as possible. He's only thrown 75 pitches. Imagine getting a complete game here and getting the win, saving those 2 guys for Game 1 against Boston. Might be able to stretch them out and just try to get yourself to that last game. Try to get yourself to Monday. You've got a good bullpen, but maybe you go to them for a little bit longer.
Bilski leads it off. Just check out these numbers. Flogel went 7 innings, Gennaro went 9, Carey went 7, and Gill went 8. As his first one popped out of play for strike 1.
I mean, Lair has been the starting pitcher for them all season long with 7 starts, but that 6.91 ERA led us to believe that we might see a bit of an offensive battle. Not the case.
Grounder down to second, Gill over to get it. 14 in a row retired by Eddie Lair, having a career day on the biggest day of his career. Babson has never made it to the championship round of a regional. They had won only 1 NCAA tournament game in program history entering this tournament. They've rattled off 3 already. A win here today would set a new program record for regular season, or I should say full season wins, with 29.
Now they came in on a 13-game winning streak. They have 1 loss. They've picked up 3 wins.
So it'd be 16 out of 17 and 17 out of 18 if they get this one. It's the 0-1.
That's hot.
This is down low, yes.
I think Boston's pretty similar as well. If those 2 were to meet, I think Boston has only 1 loss in the last couple of weeks as well. So they're both rolling. It's a battle of 2 hot teams, but Boston in a lot better shape.
2-1 pitch. Down a little low for ball 3 to B.J. Neal, who's 0 for 2. I could see if you were playing them at UMass Dartmouth under these circumstances, I could see you maybe turning on the sprinklers to try to cool them off since you're such a funny guy.
Pull the old Bull Durham.
Right, yeah.
Need to buy ourselves another day.
3-1, misses down in the dirt for ball 4, so Neal works the walk and he's aboard with 1 out, and that ends a tremendous streak for Eddie Lair. The last base runner was a 2-out single by Sean Cameron back in the 2nd inning.
Kevin Higgins
would have to go to Frank Sherman to get those sprinklers turned on.
We haven't heard that he's been watching, but I suspect at some point along the way he has been. First pitch grounded down to shortstop, deep in the hole, over to get it from shortstop, and throwing it wide to second and wide to first was McHale. So the error allows the runner to go over to third. That really should be a hit and an error, as McHale was not going to get anybody out there, I don't think. But Neal is able to get over to third.
Got that break that they needed there, John, and they've been looking for something all day, and base hit after getting the runner on base with 1 out. Now you're first and third with 1 down. The wind's really picking up here. Those of you listening at home that can hear a little bit of a fuss, that's the wind howling, as well as the fans getting rowdy, so noise picking up.
They've scored a straight error, and the ball misses up high. 1-0 now to Brady Chant.
That was a hit, so it's too bad to take a hit away from the kid.
Chant is 1 for 3, singled and scored back in the first. 1-0, misses up.
Runner at third base really trying to distract here as he's getting off the base, trying to get in the head of Lair a little bit. At least throw his timing off. Take a look at the stutter stepping and the dancing down there.
2-0 in there for a called strike and trying to interrupt that rhythm you've been talking about.
Absolutely, and maybe trying to get him to balk, and that's something you can sometimes get as a runner at third base.
2-1 pitch, fouled straight back.
Lair does not seem to have any concern at all with the runner at third base with a 6-run lead. Would easily give that run up for another out, I believe. But
Lair has 3 strikeouts, but none of them since he got scoliosis with 1 out all the way back in the 3rd inning. He's been pitching to contact ever since. Now the 2-2 misses upstairs. Very rare situation in this game today for Lair, a full count.
There is action in the Babson bullpen. Like we said, John, he's not going to take any chances.
Lair's payoff in on the hands probably would have been ball 4. Chant fouls it away.
Your guy Rotuna, he foreshadowed a little bit. First guy up for Babson. Looked so good last night.
Worked a breezy 1-2-3 inning with the game on the line against Salve Regina in Game 12, which Babson came back to win. He got the win in relief. Payoff, misses in, almost the same pitch there. And so the luck has run out a little bit on Lair as he's loaded the bases in the 7th. And now, for all that's gone wrong for Suffolk today, they're a swing away from being right back in it in the 7th inning.
I think you're going to get some type of mound visit here, whether it's by the catcher or here comes the coach.
That's the boss.
Yep, so you knew somebody was going to take a trip out to the mound and try to get a breather here and break up this little bit of a spell for Lair. So whether it was a shortstop, infielder, or catcher, but it is the boss coming out and wants to remind you, hey, you've got a double play possibility. You're only 1 pitch away. But what you can't have here is walks. You've got to bear down. And pitching great. Let's make it happen.
It's been freezing all weekend.
That's it, in and out.
And a few words for Tom Gandolfo on the way back. The Ray Corn approach, perhaps.
See, the umpire keeps track of your mound visits. So I believe that was 1. So generally you don't have to remind the head coach of a very successful program who's in the NCAA regional that's your first mound visit, but leave no stone unturned here.
Sean Cameron is 1 for 2, was hit by a pitch in the first, singled in the second. And hasn't had much opportunity since. Pops out, line drive right back to the mound. That is a live ball, and they throw to the plate for an out there. And what's the call here? It's just the 1 out, so everybody reaches safely besides the lead runners. There was a lot of opportunity for a double play, but a lot of chaos, noise, and confusion really prevented cooler heads from prevailing, and Suffolk is fortunate that that wasn't an inning-ending double play.
So a couple of there's 2 possible double plays here. One, if he catches that ball cleanly, he's got every single guy off the base. So he can go easily to first base for the double play to end the inning. Looked like he had it and maybe was going to the transition, but the umpire says no catch. See here again, he has it for a second. Good call, no catch, bobbles it. Wisely comes home. Now, you've got all the time in the world to come to first base for the double play there if you're Harrington. Instead, Harrington looks to third base and then decides to put the ball in his back pocket. Let's see if that comes back to haunt him.
First one misses away to Seth Coyley, 1-0. So the putout is at the plate. Neal is cut down 1-2. Higgins at third, Chant at second, Cameron at first, now with 2 away as the 1-0 rides high.
I really think they had a very good shot at Cameron at first base after that play because Cameron didn't run. He thought he had just lined into a double play. He stayed at home plate, come to the plate for the first out, but then Harrington looks to third instead of to first.
2-0 is popped up and out of play to the right side.
I think you make a accurate and not even hard throw to first, and that inning is over. Take a look. Maybe I'm wrong. Line drive right back to the pitcher.
Fouled out of play, and now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Had to break in on that, get back to the live action.
There to the line. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And Lair gets his first strikeout since all the way back in the 3rd inning. And what a time for it. If it's the last pitch of his 2017 season, was it ever huge? Gets the swinging strikeout. Both runners stranded on base. They leave them loaded in the 7th. No runs on no hits, 1 error, and the bases left loaded at the end of 7 full. It's still 7-1 Babson. And Eddie Lair joins the amazing starters club here for Babson, which is now 5 deep. Flogel, Gennaro, Carey, Gill, and now Lair have given them monstrous starts in this tournament.
So the double play possibility is completely irrelevant, so we don't even really need to show it again. They line drive to the pitcher, and the possible double play was wiped away as Eddie Lair gets the strikeout. What a huge strikeout that was, as you mentioned, John, joining the starting pitchers club for the Beavers. 7 strong innings for Lair.
Fusco had a 1-2-3 7th inning. He's back out there for the 8th. He'll have to deal with Harrington, John, and Weber. And this feels like a mop-up effort by Weber, but you can't really mop up your last game of the year.
Absolutely not, and Fusco's going to go back out to the mound here, looking to put up the second 0 of the game. Second 0 of the game looking for here for the Suffolk Rams. Got to come back, get up another 0, hold them here, and maybe your offense can get something going. Only 2 shots left, 6 outs to play with for the Rams. Got a shot of some type of falcon or hawk here.
Not a Harbor Hawk.
No, certainly not a Harbor Hawk.
Not an osprey either.
Babson, the catcher, number 10, Shawn Harrington.
Shawn Harrington steps up. He is 1 for 3 on the day. RBI single back in the first, flew out to right to end the second, walked in the fourth, hit into a fielder's choice that ended the fifth. Curveball misses outside for ball 1.
So you think that's going to be it for Lair? I think he goes back out, but there is action.
Well, if it's still 7-1, see, I was thinking of it as a run-scoring inning for Suffolk because they had so much going on. It seemed like the game was going to get tight, but who knows?
Rotano sat down, so he was going to come in there if the floodgates had opened.
It's Tannenbaum back up and throwing. We've seen him a couple times in the tournament. So that's in for a called strike, 1-2.
We mentioned before that Babson bullpen setup, pro-style bullpen, setup guy, closer, a couple of situational guys like Tannenbaum who've been so good, but so rarely used because the starting pitching's been so great.
Great problem to have at this stage in the tournament. Now 2-2. So the Beavers to this point, be 43 innings that they've played. As the 2-2 pitch is hit out to right center field. Got a chance to fall, and it does in front of Chant for a leadoff single for Harrington, his second of the day.
Well, we saw the first batter of last inning retired by Fusco, but this inning here in the 8th, leadoff runner aboard for Babson.
So 37 of the 43 innings pitched by Babson have been thrown by the 5 starting pitchers, meaning that 6 have been thrown by the bullpen through 5 games, just barely over 1 inning per game at this rate.
Pretty outstanding if you ask me. And I think you were?
I was. First one swung on and missed by Eric John. John had a double his last time up. 1 for 3 on the day, also had a sacrifice fly for an RBI in the 4th.
The team waiting for you in the championship series has also had fantastic starting pitching, but they've needed to use far less as they've waltzed into the championship round in just 3 games.
But if Babson is able to get through this and make it to that game, they would be on probably the closest thing to equal footing you could possibly get for a loser's bracket team that lost early and had to play the full 5 games to get back.
Yeah, assuming nothing else happens in this game and it stays kind of status quo, you're absolutely right, and you got to start to think of maybe those top starters start coming back.
Foul out caught by Belsky as John pops into foul territory for the first out.
When you have such a good bullpen too, and you get to that first game where you got to win,
17,
wouldn't be surprised to see Cuneo for 2 or 3, or Rotano for 3 or 4. I mean, that's something that can certainly be in consideration. Then you get another night's rest, and you come back with your top guy if there is a winner-take-all game. I'm not saying that's the way they're going to go, but it's something that is available to them to extend those relievers who haven't got a lot of work.
Weber is 2 for 3 with a pair of singles. He scored 2 runs, also worked a walk, and struck out. Takes a curveball in the back door for strike 1.
Boston also with a very good bullpen. We've seen Kaufman a bunch of times in this tournament. He's a guy that extends, so. Both teams set up nicely there.
Runner goes, the 0-1 is outside, throw down to second. Might have been effective if anybody had been covering the base.
If you're the senior Brenner here, you got to be a little bit frustrated. As you see it, there he is, 2 in a row. He looks into the dugout to the coach, and 3, 4 times now he's given the what's going on here.
Kicking the dirt.
Yeah, I mean, this is your last game of your career. You've had, not saying you would have got that guy, but can you please at least give me a chance to make a play? Similar to the one earlier where Fusco cut off his throw, and again, I don't think he would have had the out, but
1-1 hit high and deep to right field. Going back is Ronke. He's still going back. He looks up and it's gone. A knockout punch delivered by Mark Weber as we have our first home run to right field. Weber rounds the bases and that makes it a 9-1 Babson lead in the 8th. Mercy.
Take another look, John. I was wondering if this was going to stay fair. Hugs the line all the way and just keeps on drifting. Back, and there it is. Runs into the fence. Clearly a home run.
Number 12, always
easily fair. First home run that way of the tournament. Hadn't seen anything to right field.
First pitch to Owen Shea down the middle. He hits a can of corn to right center. Chant is over. He makes the catch, 2 away.
Off the bat there, John, I didn't know if it had the distance, and I didn't know if it was going to stay fair. So it was 2 things that
the second baseman, number 7.
I didn't think it was going to be out of here.
Gill.
Just kept going, kept carrying, stayed true the whole way. Excellent piece of hitting.
Now Conor Gill, the batter. Gill is 3 for 4. 2 singles, a double, 2 RBI, and a run scored. I mean, he has been indispensable out of the 9 spot for Babson. First pitch misses away for ball 1.
If they're able to do the improbable, beat Boston twice, it's a guy that's probably right in the mix for tournament MVP. And I think when you're a two-way guy and you're doing it at the bat, in the field, on the mound, it's got to be a boost for you.
1-0 misses away. 2 balls, no strikes to count on Gill. If he could reach here, Weiss would bat next.
Imagine a 9-hitter coming in to be the tournament MVP. Pretty cool.
His ground ball through the left side for a 2-out single, and Gill has 4 hits on the day, 1 shy of a program tournament record.
That's right, and it's going to be, with 2 outs here, unlikely to see him come to bat again
30,
with this kind of lead, but you never know.
That was Weber's 7th home run of the season. That's got to feel good. Jake Weiss now the batter. This one hit the other way, a Dustin Pedroia swing there with a dip knee out to right field. Caught in right by Ronke for the out that retires the side, but this one all over but the shouting after the big blast from Mark Weber to right field. 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits, no errors and 1 left on base at the end of 7.5. Incredibly, your score Babson 9, Suffolk 1, and back out to the mound now to pitch the 8th inning is Eddie Lair, and frankly, why not now?
Absolutely. See what you can do. You wrap it up here. Only chasing a few outs left, 6 outs left to get here for the Beavers, and send them out there to try to finish it. If I were them, save that bullpen. This game is all but out of reach at this point, and got a long way to go still here. I've had such a good tournament here, so many good teams, and a lot of excitement, and lining up for what looks to be a great matchup in the championship game. Keeping an eye on the other New England teams that have been in the other regionals as well, and there's a great opportunity here for some teams that
Patrick
we know.
Summers is happy right now as the executive director of the NEWMAC Conference. If they put 2 teams in the College World Series, still a possibility on Sunday, May 21st. The fact that we're even discussing it is earth-shattering.
Well, the NEWMAC Conference obviously has a good chance, but so does the Little East. Southern Maine is tied with Oswego State in the championship game in the New York.
To a degree, that'd be old hat. I don't know if it's ever happened in the same year, but I mean, Eastern Connecticut and Southern Maine have both been there so much.
Right, true.
It just isn't that big of a deal. I mean, if Babson and Wheaton both go, oh my.
I mean, both Boston and Wheaton clearly in the driver's seat as they're both in the 3-0 game, need to be beaten twice, but
Matt Brenner steps in, takes a called strike one down the middle. Brenner is 0 for 3 on the day. Popped out to shortstop in the first, fouled out to the catcher to lead off the third, and flew out to left to lead off the sixth. There's 0-1, waved at and missed for strike 2.
imagine 3 teams from New England could all be going to the World Series.
Oh-2, fouled out of play to the right side. I wouldn't be surprised if Patrick Summers were to show up here for tomorrow, if there was a tomorrow.
Is that right?
He's been known as the 0-2 curveball misses away.
More of a Mark Summers guy.
Well, I mean, we all are, but that's not fair.
Host of Nickelodeon's Double Dare.
Although he was an SOMERS, as this one is a ground ball down to second base. Gill's up with it. Takes the extra time as Brenner was taking it too, so now there's one away.
5 outs to play with if you're Suffolk.
Greg Speliotis, 0 for 2 on the day, worked a walk in the first, struck out looking in the third, and flew out to right his last time up in the sixth.
The designated hitter, number 22, Greg Speliotis.
First pitch misses away, 1 ball and no strikes. Babson with a very realistic chance to enter the championship round here, with Rotuno having thrown 2 innings in the tournament and Cuneo having thrown 1.
Now, what is the Monday schedule if necessary?
There would be 1 game. I believe the start time is early because the thing is that pitch is in for a called strike 1. 11 a.m. would be the first pitch because whoever wins that has to get out to Appleton with bells on, so the sooner they can leave here, the better. As a 2-1 pitch is in there for a called strike 2.
11 a.m. works kind of nicely for me because what I can do is pull the old lunch break disappearing act and maybe swing back in around 2:30.
I know it well. It's been done for many a Cape League doubleheader over the years. It's a 2-2 on the inside corner. Good night, Greg Speliotis.
Get up early, send a few emails. Looks like you're grinding it out at 6.
Speliotis got ejected. He was done anyway. He's the designated hitter, doesn't have to play the field, won't come to the plate again, and don't think he didn't know it. Got his money's worth. And now Luke Ronke will be the batter with 2 out and nobody aboard.
Speliotis the junior, so wonder if there's a 1-game suspension that could carry over to next season. Generally, there's an automatic.
Do you want to try to schedule them for the first game of next year now so that you can point that out and make sure it gets enforced? Or
no, we play Worcester State our first game, and that's a tradition at this point, as far as I know.
Like none other.
Regional team, Worcester State Lancers. Actually, Coach Baker's in the stands today.
Ronke to the plate. Has the only Suffolk RBI today. Worked a bases-loaded walk in the first. One's in for a called strike 1. Oh, 1 fouled back and out of play. Oh, 2 pitch from Lair, line back through the box, but hangs up in center field. Everything going green today. Weiss makes the catch for the out that retires the side, and Lair, after having a long streak ended, is now set down a new streak of 5 in a row. Nothing across for Suffolk in the 8th, and at the end of 8 full, your score Babson 9. Suffolk 1. We'll take one last break and come back to finish it. You're watching the 2017 NCAA Division III New England Regional on BTV9 and MMABucks.com.
On and off the court, we're focused on creating lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. More college athletes are earning degrees than ever before, but we've still got work to do. That's why we're raising the bar for incoming freshmen, so they're prepared when they get to campus. And why teams can't play in championships unless they make the grade. Education matters, and putting academics first creates a pathway to a lifetime of opportunity.
Two big numbers coming into this ninth inning, 9-1 and 36,000 is how many of you have watched to listen to the amazing debut color commentary stylings of Sean Manfredo here at White House Field in 2017.
I'm concerned, John, that
the committee might hold this against you if you're an at-large next year. Like, we would put him in,
right,
but we're enjoying
but we need
the
to
chops
get the
so
views
much.
up.
Right.
Yeah, but we don't know where next year's regional is, and the Corsairs plan to be there, so.
Pitching change in here for Suffolk as they go to the pen. They'll bring Wyatt Stanley, the senior, in to pitch, so a nice tip of the cap to him to get a chance to round out his collegiate career. 0-1 with an 8.71 ERA.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
20 and
Now
2/3
pitching
innings
for
pitched. He's
Suffolk,
given up
number
22 runs,
16,
20 of them
Wyatt
earned on
Stanley.
35 hits, 10 strikeouts to 5 walks. Opponents batting .385 against him, so this would be graduation day for him in all likelihood in more ways than one, as he will face Babson in the ninth inning. McHale, the first batter he's to face, then Jack Halpin and Ryan Arena, 2, 3, and 4 in the Babson order. This pitch in for the called strike one. McHale is 2 for 5 on the day, an RBI single in the second, another one in the fifth as he came around to score after stealing a base. 0-1 hits the outside corner for a 9-1 strike. Babson has scored in every inning but the seventh. Never more than 2 in any inning, but the proverbial death by 1,000 paper cuts here for Suffolk in game 13. 0-2 misses in. One-two curveball, spoiled and fouled away the other way. Fusco ready as 1-2 curveball misses up and away.
Just got away from him there.
Stanley deals, misses that one up top. Always tough when you get to the end of a road here. It's been such a good year for Suffolk for so long, and such a good run for this program. And this is just the unfortunate reality as ball 4 misses to McHale. When you have a successful season, you often get a very, very bitter reward at the end because, you know, unless you win the whole thing, everybody ends up losing their final game. It's inevitable. And no matter how it happens, it's devastating. But when you have a long time to get used to the idea, it makes it a really sour taste in your mouth as it comes to the finish.
Sure, and you know, we tried to put it in perspective yesterday when Salve Regina was eliminated. What a great season they had. You know, all those wins, high regional and national rankings and votes in the polls, CCC championship, but you know, you could see the kids frustrated and down after the loss as anybody would be, but still a great year. Same here for Suffolk.
This is on the heels of a 13-4 loss yesterday. They've been outscored by a combined score now of 22-5 since yesterday.
And start to think now that the what was keeping them afloat was that fantastic starting pitching.
Absolutely.
Chuck Gibson in the first game.
Complete game shutout. 2-0. Misses up and away for ball 3 to Jack Halpin. Halpin's worked a walk already today. He's 2 for 4 with a pair of singles and run scoring.
Shutout in the second game into extra innings. So it was 20 consecutive.
And what a thriller that was. There'll be some very good memories for them.
Absolutely.
But it's going to take a while to set in because of how disappointing this finish has been.
We talked about that again, John, yesterday. The memories that you take aren't necessarily the final scores. You remember the performances and the times together and the bus rides and the hotel stays, and this weekend on Cape Cod, I'm sure is going to be something they remember forever.
3-1 hit high and deep to right center field. Will stay in, and it is caught in center field. Tremendous play in center by Brady Chant. Long run back to first for McHale, and there's one away in the ninth. Tremendous effort in center field by Brady Chant.
Absolutely, John. Look at the amount of ground he covers, running hard the whole way, and two guys converging on the ball, but the center fielder Chant hauls it in.
Ryan Arena, the batter. Arena is 1 for 3 with an RBI single, a pair of walks, a strikeout, and a pop out to shortstop as he takes ball 1 outside.
These games didn't start till Thursday, but everybody got here Wednesday. There was batting practice on field, so it's been a really nice event for everybody. You know, the teams, there can only be one winner, but memories and experience, especially for the young guys.
And I mean, the other thing in the Division III game in particular, but really in Northeast baseball altogether, I mean, baseball up here in the spring flies completely under the radar, as this is a foul ball down the third baseline. I mean, you know, you're coaching in these games, particularly the weekday games. You might have 30 or 40 people at any given game if you're lucky. The weather's terrible.
Yep.
And now you get here and you're treated like you're somebody. I mean, you've got nice weather to play. You've got a lot of bells and whistles around here, whether it's the public address or the scoreboard, which isn't always a given at your games during the season. And you get the broadcast, you have the larger crowd, you get the attention you deserve for really the only time all season long, and you just really have to soak that in. The longer you can stay, the better it feels.
Absolutely, and you're in the hotel, and you're getting the team meals and the team breakfast, and you're, like you said, you're getting treated like a pro. Getting the pro style here every day. You got a game, you got the buffet and the hot tub back at the hotel waiting for you if you're winning. You're rolling, feeling good.
Stanley's 2-2, it's hit on the ground foul.
School's over. I mean,
right.
You know what? Sometimes your reward for a weekend series sweep is getting up and going to class Monday or doing your homework on the bus. And I've seen that time and time again with UMass Dartmouth, the kids coming in with all their books and their papers and coming back from Western Connecticut grinding out homework with a flashlight sometimes.
2-2, grounder down to third base, glove there by Higgins. He'll look at second but go to first, and he gets the short out. 2 away, McHale up to second with 2 down.
No homework to think about, no class to think about. You're here playing baseball. What an experience.
The catcher, number 10,
now Shawn Harrington, the batter. Harrington is 2 for 4 with a pair of singles. An RBI in the first, stole a base, scored a run in the 8th. He scored on that home run by Mark Weber that really punctuated the afternoon. Took whatever wind may have been left in Suffolk sails away. Stanley, an over-the-top fastball there, misses low for ball 1.
17 hits for Babson. Fantastic.
And only 2 of them have been for extra bases. The double by Gill in the second, the home run by Weber in the 8th. All the others have been singles. As they have run the bases extremely well, they have played very good defense. I mean, this has been an extraordinary team effort here in Game 13. .2-0 hits the outside corner.
This will be 2 teams that you and I know very well here facing off in the championship round with the amount of work you do at Babson, calling different sports and baseball and basketball and hockey.
2-1 in there for a called strike 2. The irony is I was not able to get there to do any baseball games this season, yet here I am doing my 5th Babson game of the year.
Well, that is ironic, and as I mentioned on the broadcast yesterday, the first time I ever met you, you were the broadcaster for Babson.
2-2 down the middle and fouled straight back.
Then on my side, obviously conference rivals with UMass Boston, so we played them 5 times. I went to a couple of their games as advanced scouting, and then we've seen them 3 times already in the tournament, and be the 4th time, maybe a 5th time, so I'm all beaconed up.
2-2 pitch, hit to the exact same spot, right off of our micro home behind home plate.
get a chance to meet all the different sports information folks that are here supporting the kids too, and what a great job all those folks do. And you know, as a coach, sometimes you don't see it all behind the scenes, the graphics and the updates and the stories, and pay attention to ours, and we do a great job too. But nice to meet a bunch of those folks.
2-2 popped up into foul territory. Gets out of play. And this is also a cool thing for sports information directors, because they get treated like they're somebody too. In Division I, you have sports information staffs, and if you're a sports information director, you're devoted to a sport per season. And, you know, if they have enough resources, they send you traveling and you just follow that one team. You're that team's SID the whole year. Division III, that's just not reality. You're covering every sport either by yourself or maybe, if you're fortunate, with one assistant. As the 2-2 misses down the dirt for ball 3. So
grad assistant.
Right. So here you have SIDs that are only covering baseball, and they're doing it in a good facility, which a lot of the baseball facilities are horrendous around here. And they also have other SIDs here who are volunteering to help out. So they're rotating duties in there. Some are scoring, some are writing the game stories, some are doing public address, and they're trading off because everybody has one thing they don't like to do, and that's a good way of spreading it out. Congratulations to Wyatt Stanley, the final inning of his career. He works a scoreless ninth as he gets Harrington to ground out. No runs in the inning on no hits, no errors, and one left.
Back to the top of the ninth.
Finished
No
graduation
runs, no
day
hits,
for
2
Wyatt
yards,
Stanley.
1 runner left on base.
So we're headed to the bottom of the ninth inning, and we are ready to crown a king here in the losers bracket. And Eddie Lair will go back out to the bump here for inning number 9.
Lair's looking around for the baseball.
Yeah, let's go. Where's the batter? I want to throw right now.
Matt Brenner put the ball in his pocket his last game as well, so he got himself a souvenir, and Eddie Lair went out there to the mound and was looking around, where the heck's the ball? And the home plate umpire had to reach into his pocket and toss him another one. So kind of a funny thing between innings here.
That's the value you've added to the broadcast. I never would have noticed that. You've always got an eye for the hijinks.
Well, the difference here is that you're so caught up in all the stats and the play-by-play that as soon as the inning's over, you're right into what you're going to say. You go into the stats, you got your scorebook, you got all this stuff spread out everywhere. And I'm just hanging out waiting to eat this sandwich.
What kind of sandwich is it? It's been a mystery to me.
Oh, we got 2 options. There's going to be a wrap. Looks like, and of course you as the top dog will get your choice. Turkey wrap, or I'm guessing you're going turkey, because this could either be roast beef or ham. Discolored a little bit, but you know me, I'll dive into anything.
Yeah, we could always go half of each, you know.
That's true. That's true. A couple bags of Lay's Classics here, maybe for between game as we go back to the broadcaster's lounge, which is
a real thing.
Yeah, and relatively luxurious. Almost caught a nap there during that 75-minute rain delay.
Thinking about it.
Mini fridge, microwave.
The first baseman, number 21, Kevin Belsky.
Kevin Belsky will lead things off in the 9th inning for Suffolk. He'll be followed by B.J. Neal and Kevin Higgins, 7, 8, and 9. First pitch to him, swung on, popped up. Just a terrible day at the plate by Belsky. Got himself out all day long, and that'll end his season there as he pops out to third base. 1 pitch, 1 out, and that's been the story of the day for Eddie Lair.
Two outs to play with, 8 runs chasing.
Baseman, number 3, B.J. Neal.
Only 2 hits on the day for Suffolk. That's accurate? Wow.
Had one we thought would have been a hit, got scored in error. First pitch popped out foul.
True.
By B.J. Neal. And the one shame of this for Suffolk, as this pitch misses 0-1, yes, Babson clearly the better team, but they started playing this game like it was a game they knew they were going to lose very early, when the game was still very close. And you see all this first pitch swinging, and the things like this getting down the line, that's going to be the second out of the inning. Just a lot of giveaway outs. You've seen the pouting, you've seen the infighting. It didn't have to be this way. If they could have just gotten through the initial adversity when it was, say, 4 or 5-1, could have worked their way back into it here late, but they just let it keep getting away from them an inning at the time, and there's nothing you can do now, down by 8, down to your final out.
Yeah, it's been completely one-sided, and it's
just another first pitch swing at a bad pitch. I mean, it's like half the team might be on the bus right now.
Seems like such a big, mismatch almost the way it's played out, but coming into this, it didn't seem like that way, especially the way Suffolk was pitching. I mean, Those top guys didn't come back. And
9-1 strike there. Now Eddie Lair 1 strike away from a complete game to go to the championship round. That was at least as good a pitch as the last one, if not better. Nevertheless, we'll have at least one more.
Walking off the field there, thought he was going to get that call. It was outside, but the previous one, he had gotten the call, so.
1-2 pitch, grounded down to third base. Up with it is Owen Shea to win the game. There it is. Babson College, a dominant capstone performance to set a new program record for wins in a season with 29. And Eddie Lair, the 5th starter for Babson College, throws a complete game 2-hitter to vanquish Suffolk University here in 2017. For the first time in program history, Babson College is headed to the championship round of an NCAA regional, and they have earned the right to take on the top seed UMass Boston in our next game as they continue to do the memory of Dan Cooney proud in what's been such a very difficult season for them here in 2017. What an amazing day for what's truly proven to be an outstanding baseball team.
Absolutely, and they just keep rolling. Nobody's hotter than them. You're going to have a matchup of 2 of the hottest teams in the country here for the championship. Boston in the driver's seat has to be beaten twice. They're rested. They're waiting. They've got, I think, probably going to see Fernando Burgos is my guess. Number 4 starter, but they'll be able to, if they're not successful, they'll be able to come back with some of their top guys tomorrow if necessary. So
Eddie Lair gets the win. He improves to 2-2 on the season. The loss over on the other side goes to Kevin Sinatra. He finishes the year at 3-2. And now how about this, Shawn? For the first time in 13 chances, we are going to get a game time that will start earlier than the published schedule.
Wow, what did they announce?
They haven't announced yet. I'm just looking forward to it. We're sharing the moment.
Don't jinx me, because they might say, we have a published 4 o'clock start time.
I don't know. Well, I suppose it's possible for UMass Boston fans that are coming, but there's
you know what I think about those guys? The heck with them. Let's get this thing rolling.
Exactly. Can
Boston's here. They want to roll too. Yeah, absolutely.
He's keeping it moving.
Tune into the broadcast on the drive, my friends.